You know, Patriot Mobile stands for faith, family, and freedom. But did you know they have cutting-edge technology as well? Switching is easy. No store visits, no hassle. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% US-based service team can activate you in minutes. Enjoy exceptional coverage with access to all 3 major US networks, even add a backup line to your phone. Get unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, and more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Kirk25 or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code Kirk25 for a free month of service.
All right, you guys know how it works. Open mic. We're going to be here for a couple hours, so get comfortable. If you disagree, come to the front of the line where we're giving out hats. We'll be signing stuff, and we want disagreements. And this is quite a crowd, I'll tell you what. I've seen a lot of things in my life. This is something else. So, all right, let's get started. Great to see you guys, and go Knowles.
All right. Hey, Charlie, how you doing, man? Michael. We actually met about a month before, actually. It's kind of funny. We met at the March for Life. You probably don't remember me. I'm sure plenty of people met you there. But my disagreement today has more to do with religion, if that's all right with you. All right, all right. I am a Catholic, correct, yeah. So I remember meeting you in the crypt of the Basilica. And yeah. So I remember that, and then I thought, what is Charlie Kirk doing here? I know he's a Protestant. What is this? And to clarify, I am a conservative, so I don't really have much political disagreements with you whatsoever. But what I'm going to try to do, if you permit me to do it, is simply lay out why I believe that
That's fine. Do it quick. I
sure.
don't want to spend too much time on religious differences.
No problem
that's
at all.
Okay, but,
no problem at all.
So 30 seconds, if that's okay.
Sure. So I believe that the Protestant soteriology is an error. As in, for example, as John Calvin and Martin Luther explicitly states, they believe that when Christ ascended into hell, that this was the Father damning the Son, which causes a split within the divine Trinity. This undermines divine simplicity as it reduces God into parts. The Catholic alternative to this is that when God descended into hell, that it was not our Lord Jesus Christ in his divinity being passioned, but that it was merely him as a passionless divine person coming into the bosom of Abraham and releasing the patriarchs of the Old Testament.
Love the question.
Yeah.
Love the thoughtfulness. I want to spend our time together on stuff that's not going to lose the audience.
Sure, that's fine.
If that's okay.
That's okay.
But you're Catholic, I'm Protestant, but I
Yeah.
think we can both agree we want every single person on this campus across the country to bring their life to Jesus. Can we both agree on that? For sure. And you believe that that is through the Catholic Church?
Correct, I do.
I do not believe that, but
I understand that.
I think there's great beauty in the Catholic
Sure.
Church. There's phenomenal truth in the Catholic Church. Personally, and I'll just end with this, I have difficulty with Mariology, the idea of the Vatican and the Pope, and finally, the Eucharist being transubstantiation. Those are my 3 main contentions.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend our time with that together.
That's all right. If I can just say, if you can, at the very least, just sort of study up on the soteriology and what I said, you can look
I
up.
will.
No,
It's fine.
That's not. No, I'm not trying to insult
I
him.
love
That's not the
Catholics.
point.
My wife is a baptized Catholic, just so you know.
Yeah.
So
No, I know.
I have great respect for
Yeah.
that. Thank you so much for your
of
time.
course.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. You want a hat? Yeah, great. Thanks, man. Yes, next. Any disagreements, guys? Work your way up. Yes, sir.
Hey, Charlie, it's great to see you in person. I just want to start by saying I am conservative, so I don't have many disagreements with you. But there is something that slightly concerns me and that I am
They all
curious about.
groan. They're like, come on, bring the libs.
I can't wait till the libs come. But, Charlie, so I'm a huge fan that Trump's cutting a bunch of spending. You know, he cut funding to Ukraine. I'm a big fan of that. But my question is, why are we cutting all this funding? Why are we cutting funding to Ukraine, but one country we're still funding?
Is Israel. Yeah. So I suppose the question, and I don't know where you're coming from for this, do you think there's any role for America to be involved with American-Israeli relations?
Well, I'll tell you my biggest concern here is I'm very concerned that a foreign country, any foreign country, no matter if it's Israel or anywhere else, has so much influence over our government. I mean, AIPAC owns like 363 seats in the House, something like that, and 20-something in the Senate. I find that as a concern that they're funding so many of our politicians to support a different country.
Yeah, and that's a legitimate concern. I would push back on the word owns, right? But
funded.
Yeah, donated to, for sure, yeah. I would, so if your principal take is that of Thomas Massey, That is a very admirable one. It's not one that I hold. But if you say no foreign aid to any country, then
but it's not just about the foreign aid. Why is it not concerning to you that they fund so much of our government and our politicians?
Well, I'll get to that. I just want to make sure I understand your position.
Okay.
Would you say that is your position, no foreign aid to basically any country?
Very limited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Great. But as far as the concern goes, there is a great partnership between American-Israeli relations. I'm guessing you're a Christian, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah, and we're called to bless Israel and to defend Israel, and we also know the Bible is true because of Israel. All these sorts of things. I don't think I'm going to be persuasive to you, but more than that, I mean, Israel should have to stand on its own and fight its own wars. The amount of money we're spending, I think, can be questionable, but a lot of that money comes back in U.S. defense contracts. We're not going to necessarily agree on all that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if the principled stand is like, hey, no foreign aid overseas, I can respect that, as long as it's not singling out Israel just for Israel's sake. If that
Well,
makes
it's like I
sense.
said, they cut funding for everyone else except Israel. That's the problem. And I want to not just ask you about the
yes and no, but
foreign aid, but can you answer the part about AIPAC funding so many of our politicians?
Well, so there's lots of foreign groups that will first of all, they're Americans. Let's just make clear.
So a lot of them have dual citizenship in Israel, don't they?
Some of them do, but
I think
also
like 80% or
but
something.
do you have concern with like Armenians contributing to American?
I mean, how many seats do they fund?
Well, quite a lot. I mean, like Armenian Americans.
Like 363, quite a lot, or?
Well, there's not as many Armenians as there are Jewish Americans in America, but same could be said also for Pakistani Americans or Japanese Americans or Filipino Americans. I suppose the question is, would you prohibit Americans from being able to donate to politicians that they want to support? Because that's really what it is. These are Americans, right?
They are Americans that are also dual citizens in Israel.
Some are, not
and
all.
are extremely, I mean, the whole organization is to be pro-Israel. So it's not just about
let's try
America.
to find common ground. What would you say is a solution to this?
I think
that no dual citizens should be able to contribute?
No.
I think that's actually a good common ground. I think if you have two passports, I don't know if you should be able to contribute. I think that's actually good common ground.
Honestly, yeah, I do agree with that.
So we can
Yeah,
agree on that.
I agree with that.
If
I don't think any
passports,
dual citizens should be allowed to do that.
We can agree on that.
So
Final
then, what
point,
do you
then
think?
I want to get to somebody else.
What do you think the solution is to? I mean, I want a yes or no question answer from you. Do you think yes or no that it is concerning at all that Israel has so much influence over the American government?
No, I reject the premise. I don't think they have nearly as much control as you say they do. And let me prove it to you.
Okay.
Do you know that USAID was funding $40 million a day to Hamas and Hezbollah?
Good thing they're gone.
Well, but hold on a second. But if Israel really controlled our government, then why would we be spending so much money on Hamas and Hezbollah? Can you answer that? They don't do a very good.
That's a great question.
Yeah, they don't do a very good job of controlling our government if they do. So
yeah,
it's
but we also send like $300 billion.
However, I would say though there is some merit to your argument that there is a predominant pro-Israel view within the State Department and within some government sectors.
So what do you think the answer to that is? Do you think?
I think every decision we make needs to be made through what is best for America, not what's best for Iran, not what's best for Ukraine, not even what's best for Israel. What's best for America. We don't have time to necessarily do this now. I do think that supporting Israel is good for America in a limited and precise scope, but I'm not going to defend everything Israel's ever done because I'm an American. I'm not an Israeli, right? And our allegiance should always be to your homeland first and foremost.
Charlie,
thank you.
Do you have any more time?
We have about 2,000 people here.
All right,
but
one
thank
last
you for your
question.
time.
It's a yes or no question.
Okay.
Do you think Israelis are good dancers?
Okay. Thank you. Next question. Got it.
I knew it. I knew you were going to answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
So my question has to pertain more to illegal immigration and green cards and everything. Obviously, I got the Trump hat on. I agree with most of what you stand for, but I wanted to ask and have you clarify. Obviously, the border wall and deportations and everything are necessary now, but what do you see as the future for a policy to get people like my friend here that he's on a student visa now, his family was deported back to Mexico. How can someone like him get a green card and his family? Where do you see the government going with that and getting people green cards fairly instead of making it illegal?
When was your family deported? Recently?
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years. Under Biden. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Look, my perspective might not win him over, I'll be perfectly honest. I think we actually need to limit the amount of green cards for the time being, and I think any country would make the same decision. Our obligation needs to be to American students first and foremost, to make sure that the people in this audience can own homes, have higher wages, and be stakeholders in their country. So I might not win over your friend here, and that's okay, but at least he can have understanding where I'm coming from. Every country should look after their own country, first and foremost. And the problem is the pattern over the last 40 years is we have been overly generous to a detriment to ourselves. And just for an example, people in this audience, it is harder than ever for you guys to own a home, to get married, to have kids, to be able to achieve the American dream that your parents had. I'm not saying that green card holders are an expense to that, but if and when, does Florida State have a computer engineering program? Maybe it doesn't, or something similar, right?
It does.
For example, let's just take the H-1B program. I think it's wrong to import workers from foreign countries to compete against you guys as computer science engineering students, where you guys should be given priority as American students above foreign students. And so I might not win over your friend here. However, if we can then get back to a prosperous, more robust economic circumstance, we should always have a merit-based immigration policy. No illegal immigration, very limited legal immigration. That should be always merit-based.
But for someone like him who's assimilating to America, he's going to be here for 4 years. It's his second year here. He's already more American than most of the people I've met. How can we get someone like that that's already American?
I do. What do you mean by that?
He's very involved in American culture. He voted for Trump, obviously.
Good. Well,
He's very
you voted
patriotic.
you voted with a green card?
No, I didn't vote.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, yeah.
He was going to vote.
He supported Trump, but yeah, got it.
Supported Trump.
Yeah, again,
but he's very patriotic, and I know you saw the protesters over there. They don't like America. Why are they here and he's not?
Well, I mean, they were raised here, so you have to have some social contract for being, born here and keeping that together. I will say you make a good argument on the surface that there are some newcomers that come to America that tend to love the country more than its current inhabitants. That is a good argument. I will say, though, as a broad rule, we need to have a hard and fast stop and say that, number one, we have a mass assimilation problem. Number two, exceptions like your friend right here can and should and will be made through a merit-based immigration system, but for the time being, he is the exception, not the rule. Far too often we have people like Ilhan Omar coming into the country that is sowing, discord and venom and ingratitude towards America. And I think we can both agree that we've had way too many people, foreigners, coming into the country over the last couple of years in an unregulated, unruly fashion. And it's time to put American students and Americans first. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, who comes up? You guys have two hats already. No. I will throw a couple out to the audience. Who wants to come up? Disagreements coming up.
Yo, Charlie. Charlie!
Yes, ma'am. Yeah? Go ahead. You disagree?
No, I don't.
All right, quick, though. We don't want this to be a MAGA rally. We want this to be a college campus, okay? Kind of looks like a MAGA rally, but...
All right, man.
All right, here we go.
All right, so you support Trump's tariff policies, right? So wouldn't it be more advantageous if we see historically like tariff policies like Smoot-Hawley negatively affected the Great Depression and made it go longer? Wouldn't it be more advantageous for America to cut the tariffs, cut regulations, and go to a more free market economy to boost the economic disaster that was the Biden administration?
So, sounds good. If that is true, how and why does China keep on getting richer with tariffs?
But the point is not China. The point is America. We need to cut the regulations and cut the
again,
problems
that
are
sounds
facing
good,
America.
but you got to answer the question. If tariffs really make you poorer, why is it that China was able to get 30 times richer over the last 20 years using tariffs?
I would say it's not just tariffs. It was also because they are actively exploiting other countries in Africa, and they're actively taking advantage of countries in South Africa.
Okay, but we got to think about trade policy, which was your question, right?
Yeah.
Trade policy, it sounds good to say, okay, tariffs, are terrible. It caused the Great Depression, which is highly debated, I would say, but I don't want to spend time on that. Let's just talk more from an incentive process. Almost every company in the world wants to do business here in America. We want more products made here in America. Tariffs are a forcing function to do that. What is the best way to avoid a tariff?
Enlighten me, I'm not sure.
It's okay. You make the product in America. So, for example, anyone you guys see Toyota pickup trucks or Honda pickup trucks, there's a 25% tariff on all pickup trucks, but they're made in America. So they're foreign companies making the products in America. Here's the big problem. We've tried 20 years of unlimited free trade. Has it worked? I would say no. I would say that we have a bunch of T-shirts that we don't wear made in China, piles full of plastic in our garages that we put at garage sales and give away, but we really do not have the strong communities, the higher wages, and the American middle class that we once enjoyed 20 or 30 years ago. So what President Trump's trying to do is saying, hey, what we want to do is bring back the industrial base. We want vitamin C to be made in America again. We want our critical manufacturing made in America again. And for the corporate class, corporations will make a lot more money if there's no tariffs, but workers are the ones that are left behind. And you fail to be a country if you do not make critical goods that your country needs to continue to succeed. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, yeah.
So, anyway, we want more products made in America, not less.
All right, Charlie, you get the presidential stamp of approval.
All
That
right.
was a pretty good answer.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
How you doing, Charlie?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I support a lot of what Trump has done up to this point. I like what Doge has been cutting. I just have one thing I don't understand. I'm all for American jobs, keeping jobs in America, but I don't necessarily like the cutting park rangers. Like 1,000 or so have been laid off. Could you maybe explain that? You could change my mind on that totally. I just don't entirely understand.
It's just far overstaffed. So they're not all being fired. It's just there's just way too much staff. And here's the thing, not a popular argument. We have $1 trillion that we borrow every year. There's gonna have to be cuts across the board. And so we have a decision to make. Step one, we can go decision one, do nothing, cut nothing, keep our current trajectory. Step two is understand that we've been borrowing $35 trillion that we do not have, and we need to make tough decisions across the board.
Totally, I agree.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
so,
very much.
by the way, just there's tens of thousands of park rangers. Not all of them will be fired. Some of them are phenomenal people. I love going to national parks, but every single department needs to go through some form of cuts.
Yeah, I actually very much agree.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you for clearing that up.
You want a hat?
Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Thank you. Anyone disagree? By the way, go find some of those screaming people to come up and ask a question. Thank you, man.
Love you,
God
Charlie.
bless. Yeah. It's amazing that the left typically will not. Almost there's exceptions, but they'll almost never do open mic and have disagreement. Okay. Anyone disagree? Yep.
Hey, Charlie. I've been watching you for 2 years, quite some time. I'm actually happy to see you here. But I did have two things. One of them is maybe I misunderstood you earlier, and the first one's kind of big on the news. The first one is, what's your opinion on the Phase 1 release of the Epstein files? Do you think it was more of a PR stunt with Pam Bondi because she just got into office? And do you think it was right for her to call out on Kash Patel? What do you think is actually going on? And do you think that she genuinely has the files or people are destroying them? And what's going on there?
Well, I think they got to make this right. I mean,
Right.
we as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redactions whatsoever, period.
right.
And so yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but they got to make it right. And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list.
Yeah.
Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy-to-access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion. I'm pushing for that both privately and publicly, just so you know.
Yeah.
Secondly, there probably are a lot of destroyed documents. I think that's probably the issue.
What do you think the implications will be on people? Let's say if they're found in government. Let's say if, for whatever reason, somebody in who we know as to be a normal person is caught on one of those files. Like, let's say Trump is he's not on the client list, but he's on the flight logs, right? So let's say something like that happens, but they find somebody else on the client list. What do you think the implications are, and what do you think Trump will do about that specific?
Well, okay, so I can say with almost 100% certainty that Trump was not on the flight logs. But as far as the client list, that very specific thing, I don't know if it still exists. I'm worried that was actually deleted, destroyed or disappeared. But look, statute of limitations for child sex trafficking goes for 30 or 40 years. We should impanel a grand jury, and every person involved in the Epstein child sex trafficking should go to federal prison for the rest of their life. Every single person. We need justice, and we need these people in federal jail.
And then you said earlier when we were talking about my friend here, he's not from this country. I don't know where he's from. Me personally, I'm first generation here. And so, my parents are Dominican, Colombian, Italian, all that. So, but I'm first born here in New York, right? So you said earlier that we have a moral obligation to people who were born here. Does that mean you believe in anchor babies specifically?
No, that's a good clarification. I don't believe the 14th Amendment applies to birthright citizenship. So to American citizens, I should say.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Next question. Yeah, she'll take it? All right. Very grateful. All right, next one. Let's get some disagreements here.
What's up, Charlie? Welcome to Florida State. My question has to do with culture. I was wondering, closer to the mic? Okay. I was wondering, why doesn't the right have, like, the left has dominated culture for so long. They had, the feminist movement. We can blame that for destroying the nuclear home. We can blame that for destroying marriages in a lot of ways. But how do we kind of work backwards from that, kind of get back to, like, the core American values, lower the divorce rate, lower single motherhood, things like that? It doesn't seem to be, like, a practical solution that's been even attempted by the right.
Well, the practical solution, we don't have to think. We need to point people to God and eventually to Jesus Christ, and that is the solution, is that people need to humble themselves before the Lord. They need to go back to church. They need to get married before they have sex. They need to stop engaging in debauchery and limitless amounts of drinking and the sins of the flesh, and understand that there's a God who loves them, that wants them to live a certain way. And it's not a matter of the feminist movement or the Black Lives Matter movement. We need a movement that is centered around spiritual, eternal principles. And yeah, make America holy again, make America Christian again. But a revival will only happen with repentance, and repentance is at odds with pride. And so we have an entire month dedicated to pride, by the way, which is you must acknowledge two things. There is a God, and we are not him. Those two things are fundamental towards having, hopefully, the humility of getting in front of your Creator, understanding that you fall short of the glory of God with the eyes on the cross and understanding the significance of what the cross is and what it means for your life. And with that will come widespread nationwide change. We are seeing some promising trends. Church attendance is slightly going up. Gen Z, especially Gen Z men, are more religious than millennial men, and it is increasing and growing. And young women, we got some things to work through. But we will not save the country just through politics. Politics is a means towards an end, a means towards liberty. But liberty is not man's idea, it's God's idea. And we are only able to experience that liberty if we are a moral and religious people. And I'll close with the statement with this, that the Constitution is incompatible with a faithless nation. You will not have a free society if the country goes atheist. You will not have a free society if the country goes secular. That sounds provocative, but it's true, is that liberty and freedom cannot coexist with a nation that does not believe in a higher power. Because eventually, you're going to want to have some form of meaning in your life, and usually that meaning is left-wing politics. And I'm not trying to pick on all those people chanting out there, because they're actually crying for help, and I mean that. Because how many of them, and I mean this, how many of them do you think go to church on a regular basis? Almost none. And that's not me picking on them. But there's a reason, because they're having a quasi-religious experience right now. They're all chanting at the same time. They feel like they're part of something bigger. They think they're fighting evil, which of course they're not. But there's a religious element to that. When America was at its best, when you didn't march on the streets, but instead you went to the church and bowed before your Creator to go find your meaning. And so when they're chanting out here, you should love on them, be like, do you believe in God? Like, have you been to church? And I guarantee almost to a person, 99% of the activists left on this campus has either a bad experience with religion, doesn't think that God loves them, doesn't think that God is good, or they're an atheist. So you fill that void with left-wing politics, because left-wing politics mirrors religion. It feels like a religious experience. So there's a thinker by the name of Emil Durkheim, which some of you guys may or may not know, who talked about what is religion. And he says the things that have in common of religion is that people will all say the same thing. They'll meet on a regular basis. They'll agree on an objective. That is the Black Lives Matter movement or the trans movement or whatever. And we should say, hey, instead of making those things your God, you should believe in the God of the Bible, the God that loved you enough to send his son to die for you so that you may live forever. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. You'll get one, don't worry. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Kirk. My name is Brett. I'm here for my friend Caesar. He couldn't make it to your UF one, so could you say like hi for him real quick if that's fine?
Hello.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm more like libertarian. I like socially progressive, fiscally conservative. And so I like agree with some things you say, disagree with some. But I kind of live by this mantra, and it's going to lead somewhere, I promise. And it's to always boss up. You can kind of see it on my shirt here with the cool little kitty cat taking a selfie next to his cool car. And I just wanted to say, do you always like boss up yourself? Because you have to put up appearances for politics. I wanted to like get the real thing before like judging if you do boss up or not.
Do you have a serious question or you want?
Oh, it's going to lead to a serious question.
Next question. We're good. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, no, I do have a serious question, though.
All right. We're good. Thank you.
You're
Next
good?
question.
Oh, sir, I just wanted to say. Okay, I'll ask the question. Don't tell me to move then. I'm sorry. So, can 25 college students outsmart one conservative from Jubilee? Now, I'm not trying to be disingenuous. At the 3-minute and 20-second mark, there's this black girl, and she kind of says, arguing about fetuses, favorite topic, abortion. You kind of say that fetus means little human being, even though that's not what it means in Latin.
It actually means little one, so I misspoke slightly.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know, sir. I didn't know if you were lying or not.
I misspoke slightly. It means little one.
Okay, because that wasn't on Google or anything.
Thank you very much. We're done. Thank you.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry.
Thank you. How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift
so
from God.
much.
Yeah.
She truly is. She is the biggest blessing. Hi, I'm Andrea. It's so lovely to meet you. I'm really grateful that you came out to our campus. Something that kind of has me like on the fence of whether or not I go kind of like full blown more like conservative or moderate is just seeing how
Give it up. That is a gift from the Lord, everybody. That is just beautiful.
Say thank you. But something that like I've seen and just reading things from like Candace Owens and seeing how like welfare has like really like destroyed like the family unit. I see that, you know, we're starting to save a lot of money from things such as like Doge and what they're doing to minimize government. But do you think that some of that money should go back to maybe like reforming the way that welfare is done to help poor families who do want to kind of pursue that American dream? So maybe such as programs like Healthy Start, or there's like a fatherhood program here in Tallahassee me and my family have benefited from to just, you know, promote the family unit.
I think, great question. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family.
Yes.
That is the number one priority. We don't have to overthink it. Every number gets better for every community if dads are around. Every number gets worse when dads are not around. Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. And, you know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act, and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around, not the dad leaving. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance.
This is very true.
And so right, you agree. We're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. And so I'm glad to hear about the fatherhood initiative. And if I may speak to the men out there, you are a coward and a petulant child if you impregnate a woman and abandon her. You have a moral obligation to stay with the women of your choosing, hopefully in the confines of marriage. This idea that men can just abandon women and, you know, leave the consequences without any responsibility has done has been a catastrophe for our country. So that's my answer, and I'll say this. The Democrat Party does not talk about dads at all. The Republican Party, we are talking about how men need to be men again, in the home, take responsibility, provide for your family, and with strong families comes smaller government and a better country.
Thank you so much. And I do, if y'all don't mind, I have one more question. Her dad actually wanted to ask this because this was something that to him and our family is really important. We enjoy being out in nature and things like that. So we wanted to know, like, what was your take on climate change? From what we've seen, a lot of conservatives don't tend to like subscribe to climate change, but what can we do if we are leaning more conservative to do things to just like promote like our, you know, national parks and like protect the land that is here? It's something that's especially important to us as Floridians.
So a couple things. We as conservatives get slandered a lot for acting as if we want dirty air and dirty water. That is not true. What is true is two things. We do not catastrophize climate change. We do not think it's the greatest threat to humanity. We think that global temperatures are slightly going up. We acknowledge that. We don't know if human beings are the main driver of that. The biggest issue is this, though. We believe human beings must always come above abstract animal rights concepts. Great example of this is California. In California, they had water issues during the wildfires, largely because they said that we must protect a delta smelt, a fish above human beings actually being able to have water. When we talk about the environment, we as Christians believe there's an ordering to the environment. It goes as following: God, man, nature. We are above nature, but God created all. We are here to be stewards of nature, and the nature is there for us and for our purposes. But there's nothing biblical or good about polluting. There's nothing biblical or good about destroying the environment. But the distinction is important. We do not worship the earth. You might get closer to God in nature, but God is not in nature. This is a very important Christian concept, that God is not in the water, God is not in the trees, God is outside of nature, and God breathed that nature into existence. Why is that important? Because almost every pagan practice prior to Christianity and Judaism was the worship of the sun, the worship of the river, the worship of the earth. We believe that our God transcends nature and gave it to us as a gift to be able to flourish and multiply. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
First of all, it's great to meet you, Charlie Kirk. I would like to ask if I could shake your hand afterwards. Okay. Well, I just want to speak on your take on college is a scam. So first of all, I just want to ask why you believe college is a scam.
Okay, very simple. Half of the people in this audience going to college, if they get a job, will get a job that doesn't require a college degree. For half the people here, it's completely unnecessary for you to go to college.
Well, that's actually great that you mentioned that, because I want to ask your advice for the half of the people that are not going to get a job in their major or in the field that they're studying, or for someone like me that's 18 years old that's about to enter college. What's your advice for someone like me? What should I look into instead of college?
I'm not here to give advice. I'm here to give general rules for life. Here's what I will say. If you take, how much money would it cost you to go to Florida State? 100,000? No, 6. I'm cumulative over 4 years. Anybody?
24, 30.
Out of state, how much? 70, 80. So, but 70, 80, and then in state it's like 6,000 a year.
No, a semester. Yeah, a year.
That's pretty low, actually. Here's my advice. The time that it takes and the money that you have to spend to go to a college like this, I think is much better suited, A, either traveling the world, culturing yourself, interning, or spending time around people that know what they're doing. You guys should enjoy, because you're like probably in the last 10 years of what college is. This place is going to be completely empty in about 20 years. Artificial intelligence is going to make these places largely obsolete. These colleges are slow to react, they're bureaucratic, and a lot of you guys are going to college for jobs that literally will not exist in 5 years. Artificial intelligence will delete them, and you guys are going to have debt. 4 years where you went to some football games, and you're like, what did I do for those 4 years? I'm being honest. Artificial intelligence will eliminate entire majors for you guys in the next 5 to 10 years. And so why are you here? I haven't got a good answer to that, actually. So instead, you should try to make yourself the greatest person you can through either travel, learning another language, culture, reading a bunch of deep books, things that typically don't always happen on college campuses.
All right, well, thank you. Can I shake your hand now?
Yes, you can. And you want a hat? Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Charlie, for being here today. We're with an independent FSU news organization, so just want to appreciate the fact that you guys have spent the time to be here. My question is in regards to the FSU chapter of the NAACP released a statement saying that this event was hateful, inspiring violence to Black, LGBTQ, and marginalized students on campus. How do you feel about this comment?
Lies don't bother me, so... But yeah, did you follow up and ask them what their evidence was?
Yes, they're quoting in particular an event that you went to December 2023, America Fest. You were talking about Martin Luther King.
I hosted it, actually.
Okay, perfect. You were talking about Martin Luther King Jr. and said that he has a troubled past and that the Civil Rights Act of the 1960s was a, quote, horrible mistake on the part of the U.S. government. Can you talk about that a little more?
Yeah, sure, but did they tell you why that makes them unsafe?
Yes, their opinion is that, and again, speaking on behalf of them, is that if you host this rhetoric speaking negatively against the Civil Rights Act that is ending segregation, that there may be actions taken because of that belief that you have.
Right, but I'm going to explain that, but did you ask them that, wait, so different opinions make people feel unsafe at FSU?
They believe that it has a greater movement behind it, yes.
Right, so did you ask them, are you a child? Are you an adult? And that's an insane thing to say. So a guy comes on campus and has a different worldview, and it makes people feel unsafe.
I guess to them, yes.
Okay, they're the ones you should be going to ask the question of. Let me be very clear. The world is a really dangerous place where lots of people have different ideas, and just because someone comes and has a voluntary event and has different perspectives should make you feel unsafe. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so we agree. As far as what I said, yes, I mean, Martin Luther King, happy to go into it, very troubled past, well-known rapist, all that sort of stuff, right? However, on the other side, the Civil Rights Act, I've done this so many times, happy to do it again, went ending segregation good, going so as far to create a permanent affirmative action, basically diversity, equity, inclusion, Leviathan within the Department of Justice that is now being used to put men in female locker rooms and men in female sports, of which the Civil Rights Act is a far overextension above its original intent. I point everyone to a book called Age of Entitlement. That's the best book that I'll reference on that. And let me just add one final thing. Do you know of one instance where the NAACP has spoken out against the lack of fathers in black homes in Tallahassee?
I can't speak on anything.
So that's interesting. So the NAACP will make this huge thing saying Charlie Kirk is dangerous and unsafe, and yet they won't go to the black community, hey, we need more dads. Let me, newsflash, dads not being around in black communities is a much bigger threat to the livelihood of black America than Charlie Kirk coming to Florida State University for 3 hours. So maybe the NAACP should stop trying to keep on ginning up this mythology of racism in the country and go after some of the core issues of what's been driving this country and black America towards worse and worse socioeconomic results. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yep, thank you. Who's next? All right, this is an agreement. You go ahead.
Hi, Charlie. It's nice to meet you. My name is Salma. Thanks for coming. As a child of a Moroccan and Peruvian immigrants who came into the U.S. legally and were in the process for 10 years, it's frustrating to see so much biased media outlets nowadays propagandizing Trump as a racist who doesn't want immigrants in this country instead of understanding he's protecting us from illegal criminals who cut in line. So to inform the liberals behind us protesting to get racists off campus, or people listening right now, what would you say are the long-term or short-term consequences of mass illegal immigration on social services and the economy?
Yeah, I mean, it will flood schools, flood hospitals, but even more than that, it's the destruction of the rule of law. And it's an insult to your family that followed the law. Your family came here the right way and filled out the paperwork and waited your turn. You did not cut in line.
Yeah.
So we have to make a decision. Are we going to be a country that follows and honors the rules or rewards rule breakers? And we teach our kids at 2 years old, rule breakers get punished. Don't cut in line. Wait your turn. Yet when it comes to immigration, we act as if it's something totally different. We want people like your family to come here the right way, legally, not breaking in line and then all of a sudden getting rewards because of that.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great again.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. It's nice to meet you.
Look, got to get more libs, but yes.
Oh, the shirt. Yeah, they're all back there.
They're losing some steam, though.
So I have a question. With the recent
Come on up, libs. Come on.
With the recent release of the
She's going to talk first, and then you can go. Yeah. Don't cut in line. Don't be an illegal immigrant. I'm giving you a hard time. Yeah.
So, with the recent release of the Epstein files, do you believe that they could have been altered before they came out? And do you believe that the high-profile people that are in the files will actually be held accountable? Because I don't believe that they
I'm going to
will.
do a quick answer because I answered it earlier.
Mhm.
Administration's got to make it right. We deserve to have every single file released, unredacted, as President Trump signed the executive order. I'm cynical, though, that we're going to get everybody on the client list. I'm afraid it's all been destroyed.
That's what I
But this is one of the great cover-ups. We don't know how involved our own government was involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Foreign governments were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. We have a moral right to learn about it, and the administration's got to get that correct.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You want a hat?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, libs.
Hey Charlie, how you doing? Am I good? All right, my name is Mercury, and I'm a pansexual barista at Starbucks. I don't get what's so funny. I had a question. In a recent interview, you said male baristas aren't masculine enough. Were you serious when you said that?
Enlighten me what I said.
You said male baristas aren't masculine. Yes, I am.
Where's the proof? Where's the proof?
I don't have it here. I don't
Can
have
you
my
make
cup
me a
on
latte and come back and prove you're a barista?
I will. Grande. I got you.
Yeah, okay.
So do you believe that it's a traditional
You're
gender
trolling,
role?
but I think you and I could both agree that male baristas are not exactly usually high on the testosterone.
They aren't.
Distribution.
And then last question. If I were to kiss a furry, would that be bestiality?
Next question. Thank you. The trolls used to be so much better a couple years ago. They've lost their edge, right? They've lost their edge, yeah.
Hi, I was just going to ask about what your opinions are with ICE being in school or coming into school.
Yeah, no issue with it.
No issue with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that could they wait at all to until after school for the kids, especially the young ones?
Well, yeah, so
do you find any problem in it?
So
I agree with you. They're here illegally. They broke the law.
Yeah,
leave.
I mean,
but
so I need to probably get more clarity on what is correct and what is not. Do you have evidence that ICE has gone into under 18 schools and started deportation efforts of kids? I don't have any evidence of that.
I don't
Because
either.
I know that's a talking point on the left, right?
Yeah.
But I was thinking more about college, right? So
Mhm.
if somebody here is not here legally, we have every right to find them wherever they are and send them back to their country of origin.
Yeah, I have no problem with
But
that.
but
either.
minors, I think, should be handled as delicately and keep the family together. We should not have a mom separated from a kid, send them all back to their country of origin together. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you. You want a hat?
Nice to meet you. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
thank you.
Really quick.
You already came up.
Yeah. Ron DeSantis recently came out in advocating of the
Right.
death penalty for people for illegal immigrants specifically, who rape children.
Yes, I'm in favor of that. Thank you.
You're in favor of illegal immigration. Sorry. You're in favor of the death penalty?
Yes. Yeah. You've already asked the question.
Okay,
man.
but as a Christian or a Catholic, whatever you are,
Yeah.
and your wife is,
Yes.
you don't necessarily believe in that.
Well, of course I do.
Why? No. Because the Ten Commandments specifically say, "Thou shalt not kill."
Right,
So
no, hold
why?
on.
Who are we to judge
Man,
individuals?
do you
certain
do you
individuals?
really want to do this?
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Because
Okay. So
'cause
then, what
I'm
is the only
completely
law that
against
is in all 5 books of the Torah? And name the 5 books of the Torah.
I read the Torah a long time ago.
Name 5 books of the Torah. I
Okay.
gave you a chance to get out, and you're not
Right,
getting
right.
out now.
Well,
Name
no,
them.
well,
Name
here's the
one
thing,
book
though.
of the Torah.
Here's the thing, though.
Name
because
one.
You cannot,
Genesis,
you
Exodus,
cannot say
Leviticus,
that.
Numbers,
When you
Deuteronomy.
give the
Hold
government,
on.
When you give the
Time out.
government
What
the
is the only
ability
law that is
to kill
repeated?
people,
What is the only law that is
Has the government
repeated?
not abused
Look,
its
man,
power? Has
look-
the government not abused its power?
Second, let me
Has
finish.
it not abused its
Because
power?
you brought up religion. What is the only law that is repeated in all 5 books of the Bible? The only law.
What is it?
That you shall take a life if a life is taken. Why? It is
No,
the
no, no,
only law.
Because it also says turn the other cheek.
Well, hold on a second. Not in the. We're talking about the Torah.
No. Okay, but I don't believe in the Torah specifically.
hold on.
I'm
Yeah.
Christian.
Yes, you do.
Bro, look. You're
well,
basing that off of a different
again,
book,
you're,
right?
you're making a fool of yourself, man. Christ said, "I did not come to eliminate the laws of the prophets, but instead to fulfill the laws of the prophets."
Okay.
The covenant remains correct. All 613 laws of Judaism are connected to today of today's Christianity, and this is important. In Hebrew, is it kill or murder?
In Hebrew, I believe it's kill.
Wrong. It is thou shalt not murder. The word
Oh, I thought
kill.
you were talking about, like,
no,
the
in the
other-
10
okay.
Commandments. Is it thou shalt not murder or thou shalt
not kill?
No, it's thou
Is
shalt not
what-
murder.
okay,
is
well,
a
that's how it is.
completely different Hebrew word.
Well, if you
See,
want to talk about Hebrew words,
No,
do you
hold
believe
on a second.
in the breath of life rather than soul?
Hold on a second. First of all, it says repeatedly that I knew you before you were in the womb. Christ jumped
Correct.
in Mary's belly when it was next to John the Baptist in Luke 1. You're going in many different directions, but where in Christianity, in any of the 66 books of the Bible, please tell me, does it forbid taking a life when another person kills? Where does it forbid that?
Thou shalt not cast stone if you haven't sinned.
Okay, again, that actually it doesn't say that when it comes to murder. First of all, that was.
But you haven't really had that moment. I mean,
In John 8, what it was talking about, we were talking about was when Jesus interceded with the Pharisees
Yeah.
that were trying to issue the death penalty against the prostitute.
Yes.
Said to the individual, "Let the first among you without sin cast the
Right.
first stone." At the end of John 8, he says what? He says, "And then go forward and sin no more." That is still not a prohibition on the government itself issuing the death penalty, and that is not a life taking a life.
But why would he stop them from doing it?
Well, because she didn't take a life. First of all, what he was doing is interceding with mercy because he's God and not us.
I don't necessarily
doing a
I don't
certain
necessarily
teaching.
agree with
However,
that
it's very
statement, though.
important though. Isn't it insulting to the person who is killed to allow the person who killed them to keep on living? Basically, what you're saying is that the person who killed them's
I
life
genuinely do
is
not
more
think that
important.
Jesus Christ, if he was here now in today's era, he would be like, yeah, kill the person.
Okay, no,
who
this is
killed
interesting.
person.
Let me ask you 3 questions. Is Jesus God?
Jesus is God.
But then God told us for a life for a life.
What do you mean?
Okay, you believe in the Trinity.
Yes,
Everything
the Holy
God said,
Trinity.
Jesus said. Everything the Spirit said, Jesus said. It's
Correct.
all one
Yeah,
God,
it's all one
right?
God, correct.
So God said repeatedly, if there is a life taken, you shall take a life. It says it in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
I'd have to go up on that, but you're
No.
talking about Hebrew, right? So do you believe in a soul?
Yeah, yes,
Do you believe in a? Okay, so what happens is what happens is the Bible specifically says in Hebrew, God gave you the breath of life, not the soul. Right?
on.
So do you believe that there's a different thing, or that when we die, we go into the grave, into the ground, and we don't come back out from that?
First of all, you're
We don't go
quoting
to heaven?
a scripture in Exodus that says that the breath is
That's
in life.
in Genesis.
In Exodus. It also says in the book of Leviticus that life is in the blood. It also says in 1 Samuel and also in 2 Kings that I knew you before you were in the womb. I don't want to get too deep in this. We're losing the audience. But I'll just say this. It is of course justifiable from a Christian lens that in a judicial standpoint, a justice standpoint, if someone were to commit murder, that you will receive what you yourself did.
But
that is called justice.
I disagree.
All right,
with
so
that.
let me ask you a question.
Disagree with
What should we do then to someone who shoots up a school and kills 20 kids? What is a just punishment?
I
for them?
don't think the death penalty. I don't think giving the government the ability to kill somebody is
But
proper
hold on,
because
but
they will abuse it. At
Interesting.
Some point.
So, but you give the government the ability to lock them up for the rest of their life?
Yeah.
Why?
I think that is fair.
That's
though.
still
I think-
punishment,
But
though.
you're giving the government the ability to kill people the same way that they could lock you in your house for 2 years when there was COVID and all that. Is the same exact way that they can
you
use
just
something
said it's
against
okay
this.
to lock up a school shooter for the rest of their
Yeah,
life.
but not innocent people who didn't want to take a vaccine. Come on.
Well,
Well,
of course,
so
but
that's what you're
one is
saying-
convicted by the jury of their peers, and one is the mass
Exactly,
imprisonment of
but
an
you-
entire
you
population.
just used-
Yeah,
that is
so
fair.
we'll get to
But
another
I
question. Thank you
disagree.
very much. Thank you. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yes. No more repeat customers. Yes.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. My question is diversity a strength or a weakness in your point of view?
Weakness.
And could you explain why that is?
Well, yeah, think about it. If you're trying to run a sports team
Yeah.
and everyone has a different play
What
that
about
they're
a
running.
country?
Well, it depends. Do you mean intellectual diversity, racial diversity, philosophical diversity, or cultural
All the
diversity?
above.
I think racial diversity is irrelevant. I think
Okay.
that intellectual diversity is interesting and keeps a society vibrant and keeps it on edge. I think cultural diversity can be interesting, but can be a big, big problem. And so I think unity is our strength, not difference as being our strength.
But what about unity in us being different?
That's a contradiction, actually. How does that work?
A bunch of people are different ideologies. However, they agree on a common goal.
Oh, so
of-
that's, you just said agree, so they have unity.
Yeah, they do have unity, but they have other things that bring them apart. And having these differing points of view allows us to move forward in
Different points of view is fine, but
yeah,
the
diverse points of view.
Potentially, but show me when you're trying to do something big.
Yeah.
Sports team, win a national championship.
What about country?
military?
Yeah.
Fine, a military. How can different people be on different pages to achieve a common goal?
They have to be on the same common goal of, hey, we want the U.S. to be the best, to better in X, Y, Z. However, having people...
So that's unity. We agree.
Yeah, there needs to be a unity, but I think having people that have different points of view and have the same underlying unity as well, but they have differing points of view on how to get there, working together in these diverse sets of points of view will actually get us there faster and more effectively. Do you think that that would be true?
No.
No.
We didn't get to the moon or win World War II under those values. So, I mean, what evidence do you have that diversity being a strength has made America a better country, a stronger country? Have we done big, bold, and amazing things?
Totally. Because back when America was only white males voting, I think implementing these different amendments that have allowed black people to vote,
Well, of
women
course,
to vote,
I'm not against that, obviously.
having more rights for more people has given a diverse set of people more power, and therefore America has had more power, and the country as a whole has been able to move together.
Yeah, I mean, there's no disagreement. I'm talking about...
So that's you just agreed that diversity then allowed us to move
Well, I wouldn't even
forward.
say it was diversity. That's equality, my friend.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
No,
100% agree.
You're interchanging terms. It's like equality is a strength.
Yes.
Unity
Equality
is a
in
strength.
us agreeing with different ideals. Someone
But
who
again,
thinks, hey...
I'm not going to spend too much time. You keep on
Okay.
contradicting yourself. So,
Okay.
like, we agree that we all have different ideas. Here's the
So,
problem.
for example, we allowed diverse people to have rights of voting, and I think that that made the country more together and move forward faster.
Well, what you're talking about is a fulfillment of equality and unity, not
Yes.
diversity.
Yeah, but we allowed diverse people to have that equal access.
Yeah, of course we did. Yeah.
Okay, so you agree that having that diverse people working together is a strength for America.
I wouldn't frame it. You're framing it in two separate ways. But let me ask you a separate question.
Okay.
Which is, does skin color composition matter when you're trying to build an organization or a company?
No, I totally agree.
Okay.
We should take based off of
Merit.
merit,
Okay, we agree.
skill.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Totally
we agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
I almost got you though, a little bit, right?
No.
Okay. Okay. That was the closest one, no? No. All right, I just got here, man. So you can.
But you're not dumb, so that's good.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Thank you. You want a
Can I
hat?
shake your hand?
Okay, sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've
All
just
right.
watched the videos.
Thank you. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Kirk. I am Jackson Chmielewski. I'm associated with the TSC Speech and Debate Program. My question for you today is in terms of your idea of liberal
What is
idea-
TSC? I'm sorry.
Tallahassee State College.
Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, so you've argued in the past that a lot of what comes with teachers in schools is that they're putting on students harmful ideology that's very like left-leaning. But would you argue that Turning Point USA as an organization and many others like it push conservative values over actual like debate and open-ended discussion of politics?
No.
Okay, well, would you say that although I am debating you right now,
It's a little bit of a contradiction. We've had open mic for 2 hours, right?
Well, yeah, I know that, but see, the thing is that a lot of what Turning Point USA is advocating for debate with many different viewpoints, but a lot of what Turning Point USA pushes on its followers is conservative ideology.
Yeah,
Do you think that it is one and the same in terms of teachers pushing left-leaning ideology, which is not very supported, or would you say like it's
No, I mean, first of all, we're a voluntary organization. Public school teachers are compulsory.
Right.
They're paid for by taxpayers, which is mandatory, and kids have to go to school.
Do they have to push the ideology based on what the school is producing in terms of the learning programs, or do you think it's more or less just a personal choice that they're pushing left-leaning ideology
It's a mixture
on
of both.
them?
Most of the teachers, it's a personal choice. It's a viewpoint they have.
Okay. Also, just another question. Why do you guys have like a professor watch list in terms of all the liberal professors that you're trying to attack, but you're not giving credit to conservative professors who have shared their views in the past? So why are you specifically targeting liberal professors who are pushing left-leaning ideologies when you're not focusing on right-leaning professors at the same time?
Well, we are a conservative organization.
Well, yes, I understand that, but
So
like
that
if you
would be
were,
why.
Yeah, of course, but why wouldn't you
And
have
also-
why would you have a watch list of just only left-leaning professors and not conservative-leaning
Because
professors
the mission
as well?
is to expose left-wing professors.
Okay, well, wouldn't you want to expose the conservative-leaning values and have a more moderate landscape in terms of how we discuss politics as a whole?
Well, hold on. I mean, yes, of course, this is what we're embodying, but what percentage of professors at this school would you say voted for Trump?
I don't know.
How many would you guys say? 5%, 10%, 20%? Okay, so studies show that based on political donations, about 97% of U.S. college professors donated to Kamala.
Okay, and then
97%.
Who is sponsoring these donations? What organizations are doing this?
They're individuals giving $200, $300, $400.
Okay.
So we can look through campaign contributions.
So you would say as a whole, you think that campaign contributions are...
Let me finish.
Yes.
So when a professor gives a donation, you have to fill out your employer, so we're able to see where they gave money from. So yes, if you give money to Kamala Harris, that's a signal that you support her. Fine. But if 97% of an organization, which is American College, all goes to the left, that's a massive imbalance, right? That's not moderate. That's insanely slanted.
Yeah, but that's not happening though. Education as a...
Let me ask, how many of you guys feel as if you would be punished or treated differently if you say you support Trump or conservative values in your class? Look around. Look around. Every single person. So it is happening.
Okay, well,
These
it's
kids
happening to me as well and many other...
These
other
kids are being
moderate to left-leaning
punished
people.
for their views every day.
Yeah, and organizations like yours punish us, moderates and left-leanings.
We don't control your grades. We're a voluntary student organization where it's not voluntary for them to take a course.
So you're saying if you were an openly Trump-supporting student, you would get lower grades in your classes based on the professors? Do you guys have proof of this? Okay, pull up your canvases now. Come on, bro. Come on. Anyways, Mr. Kirk, it was a pleasure speaking to you. I believe that you're a very good speaker, and
I will just say this: you seem like a good-hearted person.
you have evidence?
You seem like a good-hearted person. You want to chat? Let's hear the evidence quick, super quick. Okay.
Super quickly. So on Canvas, I was writing a essay for one of my classes. Sorry, I just pushed through the crowd. So my professor specifically told me that my essay that I was writing on my major and my school, I was writing an essay about my major, and she kept what's the word? All of her comments, like her feedback, was the very first thing she said was related back to climate change, which, okay, my thing is about like real estate in Miami. That has nothing to do with it, whatever. Then she said to relate it back to the loss of Kamala Harris. The loss of Kamala Harris and the 2024 election.
And you're writing about real estate.
Yes, sir. So, and also, there's so much that I wanted to say, but like you said, you want the conservatives out. So
No, it's okay. I just want, and by the way, we can go the whole audience as an example of this. And so you seem like a good-hearted guy. You want to be a good teacher. I would encourage you to listen to these people because there is structural power bias over conservatives on these campuses. It exists. And what happens then is we are a counter to that to give a voice to these students, thank you, so that they can be heard, that you aren't alone. We want everyone to be treated based on the body of work that you produce in a class, not based if you wear a MAGA hat or a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, right? We want everyone to be treated based on how good of a student they are. And I think you want the same.
Well, yes, of course. I, by the way, found it a little bit rude that the mic was taken away from me. And also at the same time, I don't like the fact... I don't like the fact that it's
You're
just,
exerting
it's just
your
MAGA
white male privilege over this young girl. I mean, do white men always get so upset when the mic gets taken from them?
What? It was my turn to speak. I don't understand why it's...
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
We need better people becoming teachers, please. Yes.
All right, I have a couple of questions. So, you had a very great, very influential run upcoming to the 2024 election. I was wondering if you're going to do the same for the 2028. Are you going to keep going as strong, keep going as hard?
JD Vance.
There we go. There we go. And another very serious question that I'm pretty sure we're all wondering. Who's your GOAT, Bron or James? Or Jordan?
Michael Jordan. It's not even close.
Jordan, there we go. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And I can prove it. I'm from Chicago, too, so very biased. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Charlie?
Really quick, can I pause you for a sec? Who wants hats? Have them go give out hats over there. Go get some hats over there. Go work the line over there. All right. Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good.
So my question today for you was, obviously we know the media obviously covers up Republican narratives and things like that. I know it was a while ago, but do you have any opinion on the UAPs, UFOs in Jersey over like a year? Do you think it was more of like a cover-up of the media for like Mangione?
I have no strong opinions on that. Do you think they were UFOs?
I don't know. I mean, they're coming out of the water now. They're from China. They're from ours.
The Iranian mothership.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. If, I know you do obviously way more research.
Go ahead.
You're good. Whatever.
I have no strong opinions on that.
No, it's all right. I just wanted the hat. Appreciate it.
Good question. Thank you. But aliens might be real. So there you go. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey, Charlie. So I have two questions. The first is a very simple qualifying question. It may sound really stupid. Do you consider yourself a Republican, a supporter of the Republican Party, a member of the Republican Party? You support Republican causes?
I'm a conservative first, but I do vote Republican.
So you vote Republican, but you don't 100% ideal.
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
idealize
people
with the
like Mitch McConnell and I are on a different planet.
Sure. So I guess the question is, how do you reconcile the ridiculous amount of spending that Republicans are responsible for?
I don't have to reconcile it because I'm not a member, as I say. I vote that way. But look, I think that part of the Trump movement is trying to rein that in. And Doge, I think, is doing a ridiculously good job of cutting spending and getting us closer to a balanced budget.
So here's the thing. I agree with Doge. However, I think that if Congress continues to spend the ridiculous amount of money that it does spend, that there's no reconciliation, that it can't balance itself out. Right.
So I know, but that's why there's a Doge caucus in Congress too. Hopefully, we can get a balanced budget.
Sure, but do you ever hold people accountable on the Republican side for their spending like that?
All the time.
I never see it.
All right. Okay. Well, pay him closer attention. Thank you.
All right.
Next question. Thank you.
Hi, Charlie.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. I appreciate you coming out and speaking to everybody. I know you already talked about Israel a lot. I had a question. It's not directly about Israel. I think that
I'm happy to talk about it, but just for the audience's
yeah,
sake.
no, I understand. And so I think that Trump has a lot of dictatorial tendencies. And so recently he posted an AI video of himself at the Gaza Lago. And so what's your opinion on that specifically?
I think it's hilarious.
It's hilarious, but is that not concerning to you that the leader of the supposed free world is posting about an ethnic cleansing of a group of people?
I wouldn't use that term first and foremost.
I mean, it's the definition of it.
Well,
ethnic cleansing is the...
So, I mean, first of all, you got to take all of that with a little bit of levity and light.
Right, but he's the
secondly,
president. It's not like he's a random person speaking like you.
He's also President Trump, so you got to remember a little bit
Right.
of levity and light. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to overanalyze the video, but it did show Gaza being built beautifully into kind of like a Hong Kong, right? Singapore
Right, but he
idea.
said that he wants to take those people out and remove them from Gaza to then
So I
fill
suppose
up the beach resort.
that's an interesting
That's the definition of ethnic cleansing. It's removing an ethnic group of people from a specific
So, but let me
area.
ask you, and I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah.
What would you say is a reasonable solution to this problem?
To Gaza, I think a two-state solution. I think that Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people.
So, got it. So, but I don't want to. This is too much Israel stuff, but it's fine.
Okay.
How did Gaza not have its own government, its own over the last 15 years? What else more do they want?
Well,
Israel was not involved in their politics, was not involved in their leadership decision.
But they're trying to take it now.
Hold on, no, time out. They already had it for 15 years. What happened?
So, rephrase that.
Israel pulled out of Gaza completely in 2006.
Right.
Gaza was under its own rule. They were in charge. They had a two-state solution.
Yeah. So what happened was
we already had a two-state solution. What happened?
Hamas happened. But I don't
So
support
they elect.
Hamas.
I'm saying, but they were democratically elected. So we got to find a solution. A two-state solution means that people like that will win again. So what is the solution?
I think the solution is completely separating the two and having completely separate borders. They destroyed it. Now we're past this
They were
solution,
separate.
but-
Israelis were not allowed into Gaza for the last 15 years. So what you're suggesting has been tried for the last nearly 2 decades.
But they took it over now and then
Hold on,
removed them and killed people.
that's not the point. I'm saying you're suggesting something that has already been tried. Did it work?
It didn't work there, no.
Okay, that's the point. So maybe that's not a solution.
But the solution now isn't a solution.
Well,
And so
I think the solution is that they're probably going to have to go to Egypt or Jordan because what's happening in Gaza is they keep on
But
supporting
is that
Hamas.
not the definition of ethnic cleansing?
I would not
Removing
use
them
I
from a
would
group
not
of
use that term. Is it a dramatic move? Without a doubt.
Okay.
It's
Thank
a
you.
dramatic move.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, Charlie. First things first, this line is abysmal. I feel like I'm trying to catch a flight from Kabul right now. So, just cordon off, please. Like, I've been waiting for over an hour. Okay, now I got a real stumper for you. And I'm coming to you with breaking news right now from the White House. So, President Trump and J.D. Vance recently got into a shouting match with Vladimir Zelensky in the White House, where Trump said that they were gambling with World War III. They were being ungrateful. They were being disrespectful. And on top of that, he previously called Mr. Zelensky a dictator. Why do you think antagonizing our ally in this war will hasten the end to it?
So thank you. So I'm going to take your word for it. Was it Trump yelling at JD or Trump yelling at Zelensky or
both of them were tag teaming him?
Good.
It was
about
pretty funny.
time. Where that uppity foreigner's been taking $300 billion of our money when we didn't have a border the last 4 years. We don't know where any of that money has gone. I'm glad finally someone's scolding him in front of cameras. Where's all that money going? I don't know, but a lot of people got very rich in Ukraine. So first of all, he is a dictator by every definition. When was the last time they had an election?
I agree with that sentiment.
Okay, so you agree he's a dictator.
I agree he's a
And by the way,
dictator, but
so under what pretext is this guy an ally? I'm not saying he's an enemy, and I don't like Russia, but how do we think of this guy as an ally? What do we get in return? Allies, by definition, have reciprocal amount of agreement. This guy's done nothing but extract your and our money for the last 4 years. For what? There was a deal on the table where if Ukraine would have signed it within a week of the war, they would have had more land now and 1 million people would not have died.
I agree with your point about the Minsk Accords, but when it comes to hastening the end to this war, you kind of have to play to both people in the agreement, being Putin, which I see a lot of placation for, and Mr. Zelensky.
But understand, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and I'll close with this. This is too much of a wonky conversation. but Trump has had to make overtures to get Putin back to the table because this prior administration was so antagonizing Russia. We did not have a back channel. We didn't have meetings. We were sending American missiles to the interior of Russia. We were provoking them towards nuclear war, where Ukraine has been doing nothing but taking our money, and they want to keep this war going. No, we need to put a stop to it. Peace is the only solution in that region. So thank you for the breaking news. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Can I please get 2 hats?
You can get 1 hat. All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
All right. Disagreements, guys. Anybody? Yep. Okay. I don't have it. Can we do a better job of working those guys up? Yep.
Hi, Charlie. What? Hi, Charlie. It's great to meet you. I just want to hear your opinion on something because I want the screaming liberals to hear it in the back. What's your opinion on the liberals' constant denial of the propaganda and bias pushed in the media? Because I've seen that so many of them just deny the news pushed, and they say that everything is reported, everything is right, yet CNN and places like that fail to report things like Trump hosting a Black History Month event and sit there and call him a racist and twist everything.
No matter what you present these people, they won't take it or internalize it. Because as I said earlier, this is their purpose in life. This is their reason to being, which is to fight for some abstract justice concept. So I wish them the best. And honestly, I'll say this, I said this before, I say it again. I hope that they start believing in God. You'll be a lot less angry once you believe in God. It is a great rule for life. You'll be a lot less angry once you believe in God. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much.
Yes.
Can I have a hat?
Thank you. Yes.
Hey, Charlie. Recently, I've been seeing that like Trump has been wanting to buy Greenland.
I went to Greenland.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like, I like Trump, but do you think it's like too outlandish of a goal?
No.
No.
We bought Alaska.
I mean, yeah.
Alaska's great. We
Yeah.
have Hawaii. Greenland's amazing. It's well, super positioned. Not a ton of people. Great people. I went there and visited. Natural resources, raw earth minerals, oil deposits. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Make Greenland great again.
Awesome. Can I have a hat?
Yes,
please?
sure. Thank you. Let's get some disagreements, please, guys. Okay.
Okay, so hello, Mr. Kirk. How you doing? Yeah. So last year you said something about DEI, unqualified black pilots. You see a pilot on a black pilot. Don't you think it was an irresponsible statement suggesting that maybe these pilots aren't qualified or unqualified?
No. But I'll tell you exactly what I said and why I said it. if
Okay,
that's
go ahead.
I said the pretext. I went through a whole windup. I said United Airlines is saying that they want 40% of all their pilots to be people of color or women. We have learned that we have relaxed standards anytime that we try to reach racial quotas. Anytime we reach racial quotas, we relax the standards. Standards for air traffic control, professors, or college admissions. Therefore, when it comes to pilots or surgeons, if I see somebody who is black, as I said on the show, I'm going to hope that person is qualified. That's what I said, which of course is legitimate because they're begging the question, we're not hiring based on merit anymore. We're hiring based on race.
Now,
So when you see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? That's what DEI does. It makes you ask questions you otherwise would not ask.
So the airline industry is going to take an unqualified person just based off diversity.
Underqualified, not
correction. Yeah.
Underqualified.
Unqualified, underqualified, whatever, uncertified, and put them in the cockpit and risk people's lives.
Those are two different things. Under and un are two different things. Of course, United Airlines will not take someone off the side of the street and put them into a pilot. But in order to reach a 40% goal, they might cut corners. They might accelerate the process in order to reach a goal. We know this through all sorts of DEI examinations and projects over the last 10 years. You have to choose in life. Either excellence or racial quotas will end up being the most important. And both cannot simultaneously exist. It's never happened before.
Okay, so when we talk about DEI, well, who benefits the most? Because black people really don't. It's only like maybe 3 to 4% of black people actually benefit from those programs. So who benefits the most?
I'm not sure your question. I mean, theoretically, if 40% of all pilots end up being black people or people of color.
But that's not. I actually looked it up. It's only like maybe about 6% of pilots
their
are black.
goal is 40%, right? That's the point. It's like that's actually a great point. So they wanted to go from 6% to 40%. And so you have to wonder, boy, you go from 6% to 40%, there's going to be a relaxing of standards.
Okay, I guess the way let me see if I can rephrase this. So essentially when you talk about DEI, affirmative action, or anything to that effect.
I'm against all of it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that would be fine. The thing is that now it's actually, referenced as a slur against, essentially if you see a black person in a position or, minority or whatever, the assumption is that person is not qualified when literally, and, you have to be qualified in order to even to get in that position.
Well, so let's take college admissions. So this is a great example. At Harvard, we learned because of new revealed documents that black students were having test scores that were 30 to 35% lower than their white counterparts.
Okay.
And so, therefore, if you saw a black kid at Harvard, it's a fact that they were not having the same test standards as their white counterparts.
Still doesn't matter. The kid has to get through. He's got to get through the classes, do the tests, do all the research.
Well, they actually
pass
drop out
everything.
at a greater rate too. But the point being is, just the idea that they were there, number one, took a spot from an otherwise qualified individual that might be white. And they were not there on the same merits. So what we want is the same rules for everybody.
You're making the assumption that they're not qualified in order to get in. In order to even get there,
It's not
be
the
considered.
assumption. It's the data. So, for example, it's literally at Harvard, you had kids with perfect SAT scores, perfect ACT scores that were white.
So that makes a degree from Harvard worthless then.
Well, like, you're exactly right. Yeah, actually, Harvard's degree is becoming more worthless because it's more race-based than merit-based. You're exactly right.
Okay, now we talked enough about that. Okay, so in the past you made statements about black privilege. So can you explain that to me and what it is? And
Yeah, of
how
course.
black
I mean,
people
it's
are getting
easier for a black person to get into college than a white person. You get with lower test scores. It's called affirmative action.
Okay, so that's been so college admissions has been affirmative action for college admissions has been struck down.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
I'll give you another example. What percentage of TV commercials have black people versus white people?
I'm not sure about that, but
About
white
40
people are also in commercials.
About
so
40. Well, this is important. About 40 to 50% of all network TV commercials have a person of color right now. What percentage of America is a person of color?
At least for black people, I know we're about 13%.
Yeah, it's about 13% of the population, nearly half of all the TV commercials.
White people are still in the commercials.
Yes, but underrepresented as proportional, though. The point being, I can give you another example. Easier to get corporate jobs. There are entire departments that are dedicated to just try and expand racial quotas.
You know what would really would have fixed this from the beginning had you not had all the. So why do we have DI in the first place? Because this is the problem that creates. So why was DI necessary in the first place? Or at least the government thought it was necessary in the first place.
Why do I think that it was?
No, why would the government?
Do you want my well-intentioned explanation or the?
Whatever you got.
I mean, DEI was obviously about trying to destroy the excellence of the country and elevate racial tribal politics.
Okay, so if you don't have the racism, right, and then you'll need that program. So you eradicate the racism, and that eliminates the need for any kind of program.
No, but if you have excellence, you're going to find the best.
That tries to take people and put them in place because they're minorities.
You want the best in everything. So let me just ask a final question, okay? If you were about to board a United Airlines flight from Tallahassee to Atlanta, and you find out the airline pilot says, "Hey, everybody, I'm a pilot. I was hired because of diversity. Let's have a great flight." Would that make you feel good or not so good?
No, but I know he's still got to be qualified in order to fly that aircraft.
But he said, "I was hired because of diversity," and you're like,
"You still got to meet the standards in order to get into the cockpit."
Well, again, we know because air traffic controllers and many others, they relax those standards. When you have a surgeon,
you're saying that, but look. You're not. It does not make sense. It's irresponsible, not only to say that, but to actually put unqualified people in and risk lives.
But we know that's actually happening every day, and that's why it doesn't make sense. But racial quotas end up mattering more than excellence. When I go in for surgery, I want my surgeon to be the best surgeon, and here's where we can
I would
agree.
agree with that,
We
yes.
want a merit-based society, not a race-based society.
I say we should have started that way from the beginning, but at any rate, then the last thing. I don't want to hog the mic, but I'll just say
That's
this
fine.
last thing. So you talked about black fathers, absentee, and all this other stuff and everything else. I actually agree. Okay, more fathers in the home and everything else. That's wonderful stuff. The thing is that you also said, and I'm looking at some of your stuff previous, that there's a system in place that actually incentivizes women to make babies without husbands.
The
right?
Great Society Act.
Take that away.
I
and
agree.
then that problem essentially goes away.
I agree.
Now, I would ask this question also: what percent of black men do you think are abandoning their homes right now?
Well,
as it relates?
we know that it's actually 60 to 70%.
Okay, then you'd actually be wrong because the CDC actually submitted a report in 2023 that says 54% of black men don't even have children.
But that's
54%.
Those are two different numbers, man. I'm talking about those that impregnate.
Okay. Most black men are actually producing children within the construct of marriage.
I'm talking
right?
about just the kids.
So you're saying black men are getting married and then leaving their
They're not
families?
getting married. That's the problem. What I'm
What?
saying is the data. I'm
Sir,
saying 2 out of 3 black men impregnate women and don't stay with them.
Sir, I'm telling you that 54% of black men, according to the CDC study 2023 National Health Statistics Reports, literally says that 54% don't even have children.
I know that's a complete different stat. Everyone knows what I'm saying and not what you're saying. That's a complete different. That's like a.
So
what I'm saying is that if you have a black child, which obviously exists for some reason, right? Somebody did something to make that black baby.
Okay.
2 out of 3 times, the dad will not be around. Fact. Done.
All right.
Yeah, it's only out of. Yeah, thank you. The statistics are actually out of only those who have kids.
So you got black men who are married also. They're not abandoning their children and families at high rates.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the vast majority of black babies are born out of wedlock with abandoned fathers.
Okay, so let's do this. Now, if that's bad for black babies,
It's bad for It's bad for everybody.
So then shouldn't that be your main line then?
It is actually. Everywhere I go, I
no,
talk about
when
dads.
you do it, you kind of focus on black men as if somehow we're the only ones. That's part of that problem.
Well, no, but it is a black men abandonment issue, of course. I mean, would you agree that's probably the biggest issue facing black America is lack of dads?
It's one of the issues.
Okay, what is the biggest issue?
I don't know. I haven't kind of thought
That's
about
fine.
that.
I want you
I'll
to think
just say-
about it over the next couple of days. We as conservatives believe
Because we got a lot of problems, but I'll
the
kind of go
breakdown
with
of family, we believe, is the original sin of what's happening. We think that truth transcends color. It's true for white people, black people, Asians, Hispanics. Final thought.
that. Okay, fine. Good question. Good conversation. That's just my thing is when I hear you talk about it, it seems like you're framing it improperly, and then people are here saying that I'm doing it improperly. But I'm a black man in America. I
That's
know
okay.
something about
I'm just offering you grace. I'm not saying that your number is wrong. Just saying that it's a statistic that wasn't necessarily relevant to what I was saying. So thank you very much. I
All right.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for talking.
All right. Thank you. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Charlie. My name is Nick. Thank you for coming to this campus. I'm not a big fan of you, but... Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead. All right, so basically, I'm just here to sort of I disagree with what you say about Ukraine. I'll say this from the get-go. I agree with what you say, we shouldn't send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine every year, especially blindly, because, I agree, we got to know where that money is going, making sure it's not being used for corruption and whatnot. But I do question, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I do question, what do you think of, Ukraine, and do you think, we should provide some military support?
No, end the war.
Well, basically, I understand, we should end the war. I agree with you on that. But, since Ukraine is an ally...
We should be friendly with Russia to ensure they no longer do military incursions. Russia should not be an enemy. They should be a soft ally like they were during World War II, and we should work with Russia to go against our true enemy, which is the Chinese Communist
Well, do you
Party.
think Russia actually wants to be friends with us?
Yes, absolutely.
Without
a doubt.
No, I doubt that. They don't want to be friends with us.
Russia does not need or want more enemies. They wanted to join NATO, actually, 20 years ago, and we told them not. This idea that we should hate Russia is insane and is an antiquated idea. I don't like Russia. They're not a free society. They don't have great ideas like we do. But there's a lot about Russia that is actually okay and is value neutral. It's an unnecessary enemy.
What's really good about Russia, though? Because the thing is, Putin has
a couple things. One thing in particular is that they have very strict immigration into their country. It's very hard to immigrate into Russia. Number two is that...
So does China.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Sometimes bad countries can do things that we like. That's right. Also, in Russia, they value family formation. They try to pay people to have children and try to have more kids. They also...
so is China. China's doing the same thing.
Correct, yes. And Hitler also had a dog. What's your point? Yes, at times, bad people can do things that are, okay, fine, or value neutral. Also, Russia does not put up with transgenderism with their kids. You will go to jail if you do a drag queen story hour in front of kids in Russia. They don't
China doesn't like that either. Now, I don't know if China imprisons people for doing a drag.
But Russia has not hurt anybody in this audience. China almost assuredly has.
I understand.
Cartels almost. How has Russia impacted a single American in this audience?
Russia has been very antagonistic.
Okay, they said bad things. What have they done?
They've attacked our allies in Syria.
Well, not really. Syria's not an ally. So it's that's a real reach. The point being is we've been told to hate Russia. I don't like Russia. I think they should be an ally to go up against the Chinese Communist Party. I could tell you're well-intentioned. I don't want to keep you here too long. Thank you very much.
I understand. I'm
not trying to pick on you, man.
Yeah, I understand. I'm here in good faith, even though I don't like you, but I am happy to have a discussion with you.
All right.
Even if we disagree. I'll think about what you said. I may not agree with it, but,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, Charlie.
Charlie, give me a white one. Give me a white one.
You got it? Got it. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Are you, as a first-generation American and young voter...
What country?
Brazil. What can you give me like insight? I'm not really wrapped into like political of America right now. Can you give me something I should look for in the next 4 years that I can focus to make political beliefs off of what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, find out what you believe and why you believe it. Ask the question always, what is going to be the best for the country and your livelihood and your generation? And also understand the historic time you're living through, from what Doge is doing, from what Trump is doing with the border. I mean, one thing in particular, you and I both don't want mass illegal migration into a country.
Of course.
The last couple of days of Joe Biden's administration, we had 10,000, 11,000, and 13,000 people crossing the border a day. It's now down to 150 people a day under President Donald Trump. From 10,000 to 150 people a day. It's incredible. So stuff like that, you know, stay aware, understand, ask critical questions, and always pursue the truth.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it. You want a hat? Great. Thanks, man. You want red? Okay. Thank you. Sweden. Are you Swedish?
A little bit, but you know,
okay.
I'm white, so I'm kind of
It's a very Swedish outfit, yeah.
Right. So I have a question, and I think you're a very articulate guy, so you're the best person for the job. I consider myself a conservative, but as a young person, I'm worried about the rise of the dissident right, I would say. People who identify with white nationalism, people who identify with groups like the North Florida Groyper League, headed by Ratman Supreme, and people like that. And I'm wondering, you know, as a very articulate person, as a very educated person, what do you have to say to people like that, and where do you think that they're going wrong?
Well, first of all, I mean, I don't want to generalize, but I think number one, we have to understand why these groups are growing, because there is a war on white men in this country, and it's been explicit, and it has been happening, and so therefore you get a response of political groups in response to that. But my contention is this: is that our values must be those that can apply to all of humanity. It's a Christian ideal. Neither slave nor Greek nor Jew. We are all one in Christ Jesus.
Agreed.
And that racial superiority from the left or the right is not what we believe in. But however, I think it does us good to ask, where is this movement coming from, so that we can better understand and seek to bring them back to core American values.
Right. And where do you think this movement is coming from?
I think it stems out of a reaction to anti-white hatred.
Right.
So I think there's so much anti-white racism in this country, and it kind of gets fomented, and they are a counterbalance to that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Oh, where do I step out?
I'm not sure. All right. Yes, if you guys can find disagreements, that would be lovely. Yes, ma'am.
So I was not planning on talking, so I'm giving you that warning. But so recently the government did a federal freeze on the climate change and the Department of Agriculture. I feel like everybody can agree that farming is a really critical industry, and they've been cutting funds, pausing research on soil research and conservation research, and I just wanted to know how you think that's benefiting the American people.
Yeah, I mean, have the private sector do it. The government doesn't necessarily need to do it. That's our perspective. That not everything that's a good idea does government need to fund. That's our perspective.
So they currently owe Iowa and Midwest farmers $11 million for conservation work they've done.
Well, if there's money owed, that should be paid, for sure.
Okay.
We agree. If a promise was made, a promise should be kept. But future promises and future funding is a completely different issue. But if somebody is owed money for work they did, they should be paid.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, I guess that's all.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Charlie Kirk. I would like to debate you on your claim that democracy is not an American value.
Okay. I mean, it's a very technical argument, but yes.
Okay, well, I say it is an American value because it's established in our Constitution, and it creates elections in Article 1, Section 2 of our Constitution for Congress, and we're a democracy. We have democratic values.
Again, this is a semantic argument, but an important one. And so where does the word democracy appear in the Constitution?
Its definition appears in the Constitution.
But the word does not.
Why does that matter?
Hold on. As I say, it's a semantic argument. So therefore, in the Federalist Papers, which I'm guessing you are familiar with, right? Madison, Hamilton, and Jay wrote it as an explainer of the Constitution. When was democracy mentioned, and how was it presented?
It's mentioned in our Constitution.
Okay, well, it's not though. The word is the word is not. So what you're talking about is representative government, which of course we have. However, democracy is something completely different. Democracy, as was talked about in the Federalist Papers, was talked very negatively. Our own founders spoke negatively about democracy in our Federalist Papers. The authors of the Constitution went negative. You might say, but Charlie, we have elections. Of course we do. So what is the difference between democracy and a constitutional republic? There are big differences. In a democracy, the majority always wins with almost no breaks and no slowdowns of a check and balance system to protect freedoms and liberties. In a constitutional republic, the government starts with certain truth claims that are transcendent and irrefutable. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. The government is here to promote the general welfare, things of this nature. A democracy does not usually have the same kind of separation of powers. A true, actual democracy.
Yeah, we're not a pure democracy.
Right, but the word itself is not in any of our founding documents, and it was actually talked about negatively.
But the idea that we're not a democracy is ridiculous.
We're not,
we
though.
still vote.
But that's not the attribute. Like I said, that's representative government. It's a constitutional republic.
And
you're thinking way too simple about this. You got to go deeper.
And
I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just saying you got to broaden your horizon. Not every place that has elections is a democracy.
Right, but you also claimed that democracy is a majority rule.
Correct. Yeah.
Do the presidents and do our politicians not have to win a majority amount of votes?
No, they actually don't. They have to win a plurality of the electoral college.
Electoral college, but that's not a majority of.
No, actually, it's not. Think about it. You're actually not voting. You're voting for people to vote for you in the electoral college. You're actually
That's
voting
still
for.
voting.
No, that's different. That is a Republican. Hold on. A democracy is that you yourself would vote, and there's nothing in the middle. A small r Republican form of government is you vote for people to vote for you. That's what you do with the House, the Senate, and the Electoral College. You actually aren't voting yourself. You're voting for people to go vote for you. The Electoral College gathers to then go cast a vote on your behalf. That's actually not you voting.
But that describes a representation, like representatives.
Of course, we agree on representative.
Right, and
that's not a democracy.
And we elect these representatives through democracy.
No, okay. Again, this is semantics. I encourage you to do more research, man. I don't want to belabor this.
It's the Constitution. Like, I don't understand.
Do you know what a republic is?
Yes.
Okay, well, tell me the difference between a republic and a democracy.
So in a republic, you have representatives, and I'm not saying that we aren't both a republic and a democracy. In a democracy, we elect our leaders. In a republic, we elect representatives. So we vote for the representatives.
Yeah, so we're a republic. In a democracy, for example,
vote.
Let me tell you what a democracy looks like. They'd say, hey, today we're going to have an up or down vote on universal health care. Go to the ballot box. That's what a democracy. You vote. Every person will vote on every single issue in a democracy. A lot of ballot referendums, a lot of things of that nature. Now, states can look in more that way. I don't want to belabor this too much. I encourage you to just do more reading.
But it's an American value. It clearly
go
states
ask
it.
Grok. What did the founding fathers believe? Go to Grok and say, what did the founding fathers say about democracy in the Federalist Papers, and did the word democracy appear in the Constitution?
That doesn't matter if democracy is specifically
okay, so then let me ask you, what is democracy? Define it.
Democracy is a system or government that's ran by elected leaders.
That's not the definition of democracy. It isn't. Thank you very much.
It's literally right here. The online definition is a system of government by the whole population. Or
the whole
all
population, exactly.
Right.
I am right. That's not what we have. We delegate our authority to elected leaders.
And they still have to have a majority.
Well,
you still
actually,
need a majority of Congress to vote on a bill.
No, they don't. You have pluralities. We also you need actually 61% of the vote. In a Republican style of government, things are slower. They are arduous, and you have natural rights that are enshrined that the majority of the people cannot overturn. Thank you very much. I'm not going to keep on going this way.
Mutually exclusive.
They are actually at odds with one another. Again, this is not a civics course. You got to go do more research, man.
This isn't about civics.
This
is just basic. This is basic.
Again, how about this? Go take 5 minutes, come back, and show me where the word democracy is in the Constitution. You can't find it because it doesn't exist. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, you can have his hat for him. Yeah. All right. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Hi. Thank you, Mr. Kirk, for letting me speak. So I have a question. So Trump promised before he was inaugurated that there would be all hell to pay if the hostages that are being held by Hamas were not released. What is your opinion on them not being still released?
Well, unfortunately, some of them came back as dead babies and dead hostages, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Israel goes back into Gaza sometime soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. You want a hat?
Yes, please.
That was a very simple question. Thank you. All right. Yes. Yep.
Hey, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today? Hey, my name is James. My question's very simple, sir. Trump's tariffs. He's posted the idea that Trump's tariffs could potentially replace federal income. Now, prior to 1913, this was actually the deal. Federal income tax used to be unconstitutional and illegal. Do you believe that Trump's tariffs can replace federal income tax?
It's very ambitious. I would love to see it, but it's unlikely to happen in the short term, but it would be terrific.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll just keep it simple. I appreciate your time.
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you got a hat. Yes, sir. All right. Are there any libs at FSU? I mean, where are they? They don't want to get to the mic. Come on. Come on. They're scared? Yeah, okay. Yes.
I have a question. So I know that you think that like abortion is not something that should be allowed, but I was wondering if you think there's any time where it should be okay, like if the mother is going to die or if there was a rape or something like that.
So not in rape, we could talk about that. If abortion is the only medical option if a mother's life is to be saved, yes. However, most times where they say abortion is necessary, an OBGYN will disregard a cesarean section. That very well might also be an alternative. So almost 90% of the time, not all the time, when a mother's life is in jeopardy, it's post 22 to 24 weeks. And that at that moment, you're right near viability, and the baby can then survive outside of the womb, which then a cesarean section instead of an abortion should at least be attempted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk more about it if you'd like. So.
No, I was just wondering what you think about it. But, oh, and about the rape thing, do you think if someone gets raped, they should be able to get an abortion?
Well, should be able to. I believe that universal human rights apply regardless of the method of conception. And let me give everyone my thought process, how I think about this. Number one, somebody in this audience was conceived and raped. Do you know who? I don't either, because it's still a human being. You get human rights regardless of how horrific your method of conception was. Number two, if I had an ultrasound here of a baby conceived in rape or an ultrasound here of a baby in a loving marriage, can you tell which one is which? No. They're still human beings that we believe deserve human rights. So I believe, that abortion should not be allowed in any of those circumstances because the baby's life matters equally as much.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. You want a hat? You guys are so patient. You want a hat? You want a red one? All right. Throw the white one in the crowd. These hats are popular, I'll tell you. Yes. Next question.
Sorry. Hello, Mr. Kirk. It's a great presence. It's a great. Sorry, I'm trying to collect myself. It's a great time to see you be in your presence, Mr. Kirk. My question is, do the U.S. have a moral right to defend Taiwan from Chinese invasion, or that's a gamble of like World War III?
It's a tough question. Yeah. What do you think?
I always say no because I don't want to sacrifice millions of lives, like from Chinese or any Asian countries are willing to fight with the U.S. in this war.
It's a really tough one. I actually, it's one of the few topics I was thinking yesterday. I don't have.
Oh, really?
I am willing to be open-minded. Because on one side, we don't want to see the Chinese Communist Party take over the sovereign country, Taiwan. Another one is the last thing we need is another Ukraine-Russian conflict where we're pumping a bunch of money into another place that isn't America. No. It's a very difficult question.
Okay.
But a good one.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
One last thing.
Yes.
I want to say thank you so much for being here in FSU, and I would say you'll be a great presidential, either for 2028 or 2032. But either way, you got my vote, sir. You got my vote.
Thank you. It's all about J.D. Vance.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Got that?
Yeah. Do we have any more? Or are we out? That's it. This is my last hat.
Okay.
So. All right. Yeah, I'll shake your hand.
Shake the hand. Shake the hand. Shake his hand. Sorry. Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
We'll do a couple more, guys.
Push back, man.
Yes. A step back.
Like go over there.
Okay. Right here?
Push back a little bit more.
Okay.
Going that way, bro.
Yeah, I'll sign them. Okay. Go find some disagreements, guys. I'm happy to see this many conservatives at FSU, though. It's amazing. Yes, ma'am.
You ready? Charlie. Hey, I'm not a disagreement, and I wasn't even planning on speaking, but I had to say something about the girl that was just asking about rape, and I hope everyone is listening, especially the ones in the back, and I've never said this publicly, so I'm shaking like a leaf. I was raped when I was 17. This was 1988, everybody I knew told me to get rid of it. I had my baby. I'm sorry. I had my baby, and he was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Oh, God. And I just wanted to say, there's other options. And I'm telling you, in '89, there were not many options. But it is. I was shunned by people in my church. I was shunned by family and friends. And I still had it in me. God put it in me. You're having this baby. And so, no, abortion is not the answer at all.
What is your message to a young lady right now watching on TikTok or Instagram that might think that abortion is the only option?
No, reach out for help. There's so many more options. My son's 35, for God's sakes. And there's so much more help out there. Go to your local church. Go to, there are plenty
The
of...
pregnancy crisis centers in your local
Yes,
neighborhood.
there's 2 of them here
right?
in Tallahassee.
So your son, who's now 35,
Yes.
I'm sure is living a great life and
Yes.
doing good.
Yes.
Talk about what your life would be if you would have had that abortion.
I probably wouldn't be here because I was doing some stupid crap, but I was raped. And I conceived him during that rape, and he knows that. He's known it his whole life. His biological father has nothing to do with him. He has nothing to do with him. I married the most wonderful man when he was 11. We got married. We had another child, so
Praise
he
God.
has his sister, and that completed my family. But never once in my mind did it occur to me to kill him. Never. And
Praise the Lord. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
And God bless you for that testimony.
Thank you.
Because every human being is made in the image of God.
Yes,
Every single
absolutely.
human being. God bless
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
Charlie.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah. Hi, I'm actually a big fan, but I do have a question. I know you support like Trump's tariffs and all of that, and the 25% tariffs he's done like with Canada and Mexico on like our metal imports and exports. Like, I've just been reading about how it's actually like not a good thing because like it's gonna like harm the automobile industry and just all of that. But like I want to know your take, just because from what I've read like over the past like 2 weeks, it just doesn't seem like it's like a good thing.
Well, as far as the Canada ones actually haven't gone into effect yet. They're largely a negotiating tool to get Canada to come to the table to stop the flow of illegal immigration. Secondly, though, I've done tariffs a couple times today already. One sec, guys. I would say that tariffs are a forcing function to protect American labor and American workers. That if we want more stuff made here, we need tariffs as a way to try to re-domicile the companies to come here. A lot of what you're reading in the news is companies that are worried they're going to have to open up factories in Tallahassee or Gainesville, Georgia, not Gainesville, Florida, don't worry, or in Louisiana. It's a choice. Do we want more cheap stuff coming in that we don't use and don't value, or would we have less, better stuff made by our fellow countrymen and with it a stronger country? I don't know about you guys. I think we have enough plastic and cheap T-shirts to go around. I actually value better made things that are made, right, by Americans or with more care and with more dexterity than just piles of stuff from Walmart. I think that's the direction the country should go and currently is going. So,
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Yes. Yes, I will. Yes. Who's up? What is this?
Oh my
Donald
God.
Duck.
Sorry, my backpack is so big. Oh, okay. Yo, hey, what's up, Charlie? Oh, wow. You got, like, very blue eyes. I didn't realize, I watch you on camera all
I
the
do
time.
not have blue eyes, but that's okay.
Oh, you don't have blue eyes? Sorry, I guess I'm colorblind.
Do I have blue eyes? I don't think so.
I don't know. Well, they're very striking. I just wanted to say. I was curious. Would it be all right? I have some people that were asking me if it was all right if I recorded, just because there's a lot of people that were curious about this.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to do some stupid troll and fall on your face, but go ahead. Yeah.
Bro, I'm so sorry, but okay. Yeah, I'm just like, okay. So I was talking about this with, like
You got like 10 seconds, man.
Okay. I apologize. What? Oh, hand down? Oh, not on the mic?
You can record. I don't care.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well.
What's your question?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that my question would just generally be like, so, at the front of the line, I was like, hey, I want to talk about like LGBT issues and stuff like that. Now, obviously, I feel very strongly about that stuff. And, so I was talking with, like Owen Girard about this earlier. I say he's my favorite French friend, if you will. And, I was just, I was curious because I know that you're a big fan of free speech, man. And so I just wanted to come here to just like kind of share in that free speech. And I was just curious.
What's your question?
I was curious, Charlie Kirk. Would you go on a date with me?
Yeah. Next question. Thank you. They used to be so much. You could tell it because they're so like clumsy and awkward, and they actually don't get to the troll. It's so funny the audience forgot to laugh. Next question. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Kirk. My name is Chance, and I apologize if one of these has been covered before. It was a little hard to hear. Oh, thank you. So I wanted to know either your thoughts on masculinity and the definition of that, or religious, using religion as the objective morality.
Which one would you like me to
whatever
tackle?
hasn't been covered as much.
Yeah,
Whatever you think.
the what it means to be a man hasn't been covered.
Okay, yeah,
right?
let's talk about
to be a man is to have self-control over your fleshly desires and an attitude towards courage and defending those that can't defend themselves, fostering a family towards godly purposes, and picking the fights that the rest of society should not be involved in. That's what men should do.
Understood. So with the godly purposes, do you believe that if a person is not religious, that they are less of a man because of it?
No, I don't. But
Okay.
I do say, though, by what standard do we say them good or not so good? So if someone is not religious, that's going to be an eternal problem that they'll have to figure out.
Understood.
However, if someone is not religious, we have to look at how they act and how they raise their kids. By what standard? We view that through a Western Christian ethic.
Yep.
And so through the Western Christian ethic, we judge what is a good man and what is not a good man. And the Bible is full of great men and not so great men, right? And even the great men of the Bible made a lot of mistakes, right? The great man of Moses killed somebody. The great man of Abraham sold his wife basically into slavery in Egypt. But they also did a lot of good. The best story for young men right now is Genesis 12 of the Bible, which is basically like get off your tail, leave your father's home, and go on an adventure for God's purpose. And of course, all throughout the scriptures, men in particular are called at this time, and it's the Hebrew word hineni, which means here I am, which is God will call you to a place out of comfort and into duty. We see that with the calling of Isaiah, the calling of Samuel. We see that with Moses. We see that with the calling of Jacob. And so we as men need to be called sometimes to not what we want to do, but what we ought to do, which is that word that I love that is being lost in America so much as called duty.
Makes sense. So one more question to that is, do you believe that the modern movement to of feelings and men with feelings and stuff like that makes them any less of a man, or things like therapy or whatever?
I mean, of course, we as men must have feelings, but women are more emotional. That is how they are wired. However, here's the issue, is that we as men need to do a job as society in our families and our marriages to always make sure our reason triumph over feelings. That is largely what the biblical role is, and what made this country so great is that we must have deep feeling and also deep thinking in our life, both of which. And if we're honest, we've had way too much feeling and way too much emotion-centric governing over the last couple of decades, especially the last 10 years, and not nearly enough reason calculation. And so, look, a man who's in touch with his feelings, fine. However, if that verges on the line of self-indulgent narcissism, and towards what end? And by the way, the number one feeling you should have is adoration for a God that made you. The greatest feeling is you should always petition those things to the Almighty.
And I guess this might be a little off, but for people that have had multiple experiences trying to connect with God or some sort of higher power in some form, but have not been able to find that, what would that person do you believe?
Well, what you aim at is what you get. The first thing is you got to read the Bible every day. And then finally, if you want to get closer to God, stop doing sinful things. You know, I always laugh. People say, well, I'm not close to God. Yeah, I was up till 3 a.m. drinking, and I've been doing weed all day long and watching pornography and eating whatever I want to eat. The flesh dulls the spirit from getting closer to the Almighty. And by the way, this is just good life advice. Mm-hmm. If the flesh dulls your spirit, getting closer to the Almighty. So it's just good life advice. If it makes you feel good in an instant, it's probably bad for you. And a man versus a boy is someone who is able to say no for the things that feel good but aren't good for you over long periods of time. A man versus a boy is someone who's able to have delayed gratification, not go out drinking every night, treat women with honor and respect, stay up late and actually, studying. People are booing, saying not going up, drinking every night. That's fine. But it's like success comes at a certain cost. If you guys want to be average, then, you guys can go be the chief executive officer for, your local Bud Light Club or whatever, right? Instead, if you want to be excellent at something, it means saying no to the flesh, saying no to the things that make you feel good all the time. And our society is highly addicted to pornography, highly addicted to substances, and we wonder why we have the most depressed, anxious, alcohol-addicted generation in history. A lot of these reasons are because of that. So what it means to be a man are a lot of those things, and also standing up against injustice. The most masculine thing you can do is stand up against the injustice and the suffering of others. And this is what bothers me a lot, is that we are called to defend women. We are called to defend women that are being criticized, that are being criminalized, or whatever you say, especially in our marriage. And then finally, we as men are not called to go sleep with like 100 different women. That's BS. Find one woman for your life as a wife, take her as your wife, and have a family with that person. Monogamy takes effort. There is no skill in being, a polyamorous polygamist. In fact, you'll end up being a very miserable person if that's the case.
That makes sense. I understand your perspective.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Would it be okay if I shook your hand?
Yeah, sure. Of course. Thank you. Yep.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kirk. So I had a question about Latin America. I agree with getting rid of the criminals, but I don't agree with, partially. President Trump cut the financial lifeline for the Venezuelans to send up over oil. And, in Cuba, he restricted travel and business. I feel like that's not really going to get us anywhere. We've had, and 10% of the population is Latins. And since the 1800s, after the Chamber of Commerce, right after the Civil War, is when they started coming in with work visas and staying relatively in the United States and stuff. I think that all these military weapons that we use in the Middle East and everywhere in the world should be used against those leaders in Latin America. Now, I don't want U.S. intervention because, you do something, you expect something back. But that's not up to the United States. That's up to Latin America and them, really standing up for what they believe in and forming a revolution. My ultimate goal is to unite Latin America, one day have unity and peace there. So my point being, with Bukele in El Salvador, we saw a decline in Salvadorians coming into the country. I think deporting is a temporary solution to a permanent problem because although you're
you're very smart on this topic. What would you say is a permanent solution to the permanent problem?
Is the people rising up and forming a constitution.
I agree. Yeah. So we share that goal. But the deportations are necessary for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would love to see Latin America engage self-sovereignty, democratic rule of government, and really understand the values of liberty and freedom.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Any disagreements, guys? Anyone? I always see the hands of the disagreements, but can we please work them up? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Can we work up this gentleman here and a couple there?
Grab
Yes.
the mic.
And then I got to run.
All right. Hey, Charlie, it's great to have a chance to speak with you. My name's Joseph. I was just wondering, Trump has been making some pretty bold claims these last couple of weeks. I was wondering, what is your opinion on specifically Trump's plans with Greenland, and are they valid?
Been asked that already.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I hope we buy it, and we could do a Prove Me Wrong and Nook Greenland in July.
So you think the U.S. has, they should just be able to buy any, property they want with
What
no
do you think
issue?
about Alaska?
I mean, yes, that was true.
Or Hawaii, or Guam, or the Channel Islands, or,
right,
or
but if
Puerto
Denmark
Rico.
has no intention to sell Greenland, why should we try to, what
The Russians didn't
claim
want to
do
sell
we have
Alaska.
to it? Right, but they were forced to. Denmark is not really in a position to sell Greenland to us.
Yeah, they are.
How come? In what way?
They don't have a military, and we pay for their military. We keep Europe safe with hundreds of billions of dollars a year.
So because
They'll sell.
So because they're unable to defend themselves, we just have a right to take what they've had since
I mean, we are the stronger country, though, right?
Right, but
and by
does
the way,
that
just so
mean-
you know, the people of Greenland hate the Danes, hate them. So they don't even want to be controlled by them. So
Do they
actually,
like Americans?
A lot more than Danes. I went to Greenland. They loved us. We had crowds like this in downtown Nook.
Really?
So leave it up to a vote. Let's see what they think, and if they want to be sold, we'll buy them.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And since you ran out of hats, could you sign my?
I'll sign that. Yes. All right. Disagreements? Anyone? Yes.
Yeah, disagree.
I'll wait for him.
Yeah. Thank you.
How's it going, Charlie?
Everything's been so polite today. Yeah. Yes. 1 second. Yes, sir.
First of all, I just want to say, man, I'm excited to see you. I watch your videos all the time. I disagree heavily, and I originally wanted to come up here and maybe troll, but I actually have a genuine question for you. And my question to that is, why is it that you are in strong support of religious values being instilled as American values and protected by the Constitution when our founding fathers kind of tried to stray away from a instillment of a specific religion on the entire country.
Well, I would reject the premise, but let's just kind of let's ask you, by what standard do you think we should live by?
Standard in the country?
Just as humanity, what should we say is good or evil, and where should we get that from?
I think that we should have a set amount of values that come from what we as a society kind of create, and that can be contributed by a mix of different religions and perspectives and opinions, which is why I disagree with the instillment of a specific religion on the entire country.
So let's just, I'll tell you what I believe. I believe specifically the 10 Commandments is a great place to start. What would you say are rules for life, and where do we get them from, and why should we believe them?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so again, like I said, I think that a lot of things we can point to the Bible, we can point to the 10 Commandments, we can point to a lot of these teachings, and we can say, okay, here's a good set of values that we have that are outlined in the 10 Commandments, in the Bible, and stuff like that. But we can also, what that raises the issues of is what that does for the rest of the country. Because if you flip that logic and you applied it to, let's say, values of Islam, values of Hinduism, values of Buddhism.
We weren't founded on those values, though.
Correct.
Right?
We were not founded on those values, but also I think that just because we were founded on beneficial values of a specific religion does not mean that we as a country should look to solidify the entire country in religion. And what we're seeing a lot in government is more religious involvement. We're seeing a lot of money.
Which we should. We should have a ton more religious involvement. And the reason primarily being is if America goes secular, it will lose its mind.
Would you agree then?
And we're seeing that.
Would you agree with if the president elected was Muslim or had a different religion than you? Would you also?
Well, let's take Vivek. I mean, Vivek has a worldview that I share. Vivek is a Hindu.
But how would you feel with those values as a whole being?
I mean, Vivek is a Hindu, but Vivek would come up here and say the 10 Commandments is one of the greatest moral breakthroughs ever. The point being, and this is what I'm getting at, is that Christianity is the greatest ethic that humanity has ever had to live under. Hold on a second.
Sorry.
Christianity, as we know it, is the greatest moral ethic, and these are things you agree with. You know, love the stranger. You know, help others. Have justice.
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, love thy neighbor as yourself, like Leviticus 19, right? These are beautiful teachings. In fact, they're so beautiful that you think that they're common, when in reality the rest of the world doesn't always have them. Even freedom of speech and natural rights and charity to the lesser, these are all Christian values. So what I'm getting at, though, is if we remove Christian values, which you may or may not be suggesting, what do we replace them with?
I guess my question is more centered around using taxpayer dollars. Well, I guess I can lead with a question. How do you feel about taxpayer dollars using to fund things like Bible teachings in public schools?
Yeah, I totally support that. The Bible is a historical document.
And so my question again is, how would you feel about taxpayer dollars going towards teachings of the Quran?
Well, they actually do that already.
And are you in support of it?
Hold on a second. Pause. We do have a religious texts of a lot of public schools. Yes, we should look at all religious texts of great faiths and learn and examine them. You know, okay, what does the Quran say? What does the Bible say? If it's in a public school.
But I think you know what I'm getting, pointing at.
Sort of, but it's important to understand, though, that only one of those texts was believed and continued this country moving forward, which, of course, is the Holy Bible. And the teachings of the Bible were at 55 out of 56 of the signers of the Constitution were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. God is mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence, right? We were an explicitly Christian country. In fact, John Adams said that the Constitution was written wholly for a moral and religious people. It's wholly inadequate for the people of any other. I might not convince you on this. What I might convince you on, though, is that if you say Christianity should not be involved in our government, fine. You got to replace it with something. And if you say it's neutral, there's no such thing as a neutral public square. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that, and I'll be quick because I know there's other people I want to talk to. But what I'm saying is, I would say that I disagree strictly with a certain teaching, a certain religion being the basis of what we take all beneficial teaching that we apply to the United States.
Fine, but then who chooses the moral code?
I think that the people as a whole who can represent different religions,
how do we
who
do
can
that?
represent different beliefs and opinions. It shouldn't have to come from a specific religion, because what does that one religion teach that the other opposing viewpoints or atheism can't teach?
Hold on a second. No, that's an interesting question. What does Christianity teach that others do not? A lot. A lot. For example, in Christianity explicitly, there are beliefs that are not found in Buddhism or Hinduism. And again, just look at the fruit. The West is a Christian project. So why would we cut the fruit from its vine? Why would we cut the flower from its roots?
Yeah, and my question is because I think that there's a lot of disagreeing points of view that conflict that, right? Abortion rights. I know that it is a largely Christian value to not be in support of a woman's right to choose whether or not she has an abortion.
To protect
and I know that
life,
you are
sure.
also anti-democracy, and
Well, I'm pro-elections, but yeah.
Yes, and you're opposed to a just the majority ruling over the rest of people, right? And so why is it that you are in support of people that make up the slight majority having power to instill legislation and rules and laws that their religion teaches on the rest of the society?
Again,
is what I'm saying.
First of all, you can't have a free society without having some sort of a belief in God.
So then why should we use Christian teachings to apply that to the rest of society when they disagree with them?
First of all, it's the best. Show me a better alternative. No, seriously, I mean, you can laugh at it. Show me a society that has gone away from Christianity and has improved itself.
What I'm
saying. No, it's important.
Okay.
I believe that America should remain Christian. Show me a formerly Christian country in Europe that has gone away from Christianity and has become a better, stronger, more better.
What I would point you to is probably towards a country that does not apply those values to things like abortion rights. So I'll probably point you to I'll probably point to Norway. I'd probably point you to a lot of the places like that because they're not having people die from lack of access to abortion.
And this is where we just have disagreement. I think Europe is a disaster right now.
Okay.
I think Europe is a husk of its former self.
What I'm arguing is that I'm saying in the specific areas of that there's not people literally like dying because they're forced to give birth to a human that they don't want to carry and they don't have proper access to abortion, and those are Christian teachings that are not.
Yeah, in this country we have babies literally dying in the womb every single day.
Yeah. I mean,
3,000 abortions a day.
I mean, I think that's a big deal, but I also at the same time, there are those same Christian teachings.
I would just ask again. You don't have to answer it. This is an interesting question for you, and I want you to think about this for the next week or two.
Okay.
The most important book in my life, of which all truth stems from, is the Bible. Correct. What is your most important book?
The Right-Wing Revolution by Charlie Kirk.
Without the troll, though, but it's important because at some point you have to appeal to something. You have to have a rule book. Every species, all human beings need a rule book for life. We tell you what our rule book is. I know it's like putting you on the spot, but think about it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a rule book, you're lying to yourself. Everybody has a rule book you live by. You just got to tell us what it is.
Fair enough.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you, man.
Charlie.
Think about that, okay?
Can I get a hat?
Yes. I ran out.
Damn it.
Yeah. Okay. Think about your rule book. Yep. How we doing?
Charlie, my guy. What's up, guy? Oh, can you hear me? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. What's up, Charlie? So I am a second-year master's student in student affairs, and I see you got an anti-DEI shirt on, so this is about to get good. I personally believe in DEI. I think that actually helps with creating inclusivity within PWIs and predominantly white institutions. And I also believe that not go to FSU. That's where I go at. But I also believe that this is the reason why I wanted to get into student affairs, because I believe that with the DEI being present within our campuses, we actually are able to build inclusivity for students who are first gen, for minoritized students, for veteran students who are coming onto these campuses and actually being able to feel like they have somewhere for them on campus. As well, I understand the counter argument, but I'm gonna let you go first. I'm sorry.
Well, instead of debating DEI, why don't you define it further so we can make sure we're talking about the same thing?
Got you. So diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know what that means.
Okay, my fault.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it, but that's a separate issue.
Ooh, didn't earn it. You been working on that? Type. So yes, a lot of people think that, and in that regards, which is a counter argument to it. But I honestly believe that the fact that you got to this point where you was already unrepresented on these campuses already shows that you did actually earn to get those fundings, did actually earn to get that exclusivity tailored to you. Because the fact that you even made it to the campus where a lot of people in disproportionate communities don't make it a lot out of, at least you can have is a place on campus where you feel included at. That would be my argument.
Yeah, so I don't know what DEI looks like on this campus. So, yeah, so I can't speak to that. Let's try to find some common ground.
Okay.
Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault. I'm sorry. My fault. I think that they should be hired based off their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory, is it focuses on race more than competency. And
Okay.
that is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin, which is actually, as you know, Martin Luther King gave this big speech, and I know, but he is an ideal. That I agree with this sentence for sure, where DEI says no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like.
I got you, and I understand that as very well, and I think that that's a profound position to have with it. And
No, you're good. Yeah.
and I know you gotta go, so
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. So my last thing is, and I'm gonna make it short because we aren't going to agree on that, but agree on the whole anti-DEI act movement. But I will say that Drake or Kendrick Lamar, who won?
I like Kendrick Lamar. I'm not a rapper guy, but I would say at least the only thing I know about this is the anti-pedophile thing, which I support completely.
Okay.
So the fact he goes after Drake for being
No, you can't say that. Sexy songs for you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Go Drake.
I don't know a single song between either of them. All I know is that if you even engage in pedophile stuff, you're no go.
Type shit.
But can we both agree though
Yes.
that the less we talk about race as a country, probably better. That if we look at people as human beings first and not race.
I agree with that.
Okay, we
I
can
can agree.
agree. Thank you, man. God bless you. Thank you.
Disagree. Hey, Charlie, thank you for being here. My question to you, and I just want to confirm your position on something. You are anti-death penalty, is that correct?
Pro.
You're pro-death
I've done this once already, but yes, correct.
Okay.
I
just
used
wanna
to be
ask-
anti, but yes, fine.
I just want to ask about consistency. So, consistency. One thing that irritates me about liberals is they'll say things like, yeah, we're pro-choice. But then when it comes to like vaccinations and my body, my choice, suddenly they're not so pro-choice anymore. I feel like conservatives do the same thing, but on the pro-life side. So can you,
Come
can
on,
you
man,
defend?
you seem so much smarter than that. What do you think my answer is?
I don't, because they did something bad.
Well, yeah.
But if life
And
is
the- and the-
invaluable, then why do
well-
you not consider
well,
it valuable throughout the whole lifespan, not just the beginning?
Because you believe in putting criminals in jail, right?
Yes.
Which is a taking of their rights.
Not their life.
Well, again, but their whole life is completely changed. So I guess it's also an
Right.
insult to the victim, isn't it? Saying that your life doesn't matter so much that your murderer can keep on living, but you yourself aren't living. It
Yeah.
actually devalues the value of the victim, or
Mhm.
the victims, actually, in a lot of times.
Mhm.
And you have a hat that says, "Make America Holy Again."
Yes.
God repeated in all 5 books of the Torah, you take a life, your life will be taken. To the consistency argument, if there is a baby here, in the womb, that baby has done nothing wrong. Whereas a guy who went and shot up a school did a lot wrong. And so the only answer is to say, we value human life so much that you don't get to keep on living if you take a precious human life. It's actually an explicitly pro-life position because it's honoring the dead and honoring the victim so much that it's not just one to be discarded. It's not just a clump of cells. You see, to be against the death penalty is actually consistent for the left because they're like, it's just a bunch of clump of cells that got shot up at a school. It doesn't really matter. Go put him in a jail. Where we say, no, that's a life you took, and you don't get to keep on having breath if you go take another precious human life. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. And how do you defend there's a flat-out commandment? It doesn't get much clearer. Thou shalt not kill.
We did this earlier.
I can't hear anything on the other
That's
side.
all right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it says, "Thou shalt not kill," thou shalt not murder, not thou shalt not kill. So killing and
Okay.
murder are 2 different words
Okay.
in Hebrew. It says, "Thou shalt not murder, not kill." Again, I could repeat this it's just over on ad nauseum. God has a law in the scriptures. If you are to take a life, your life shall be taken from you. Why is that? God went and explained in the Torah, it's because human life is so precious, you shall not be able to continue. The only punishment is that your life should also be taken from you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
And
you
I
very
wasn't trying
much.
to debate. I just want to hear your
No
explanation.
worries. It's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And-
Yep.
Thank you so much.
We'll do a couple more. Thank you. Yep.
I think it's good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, basically, my question is: throughout this whole thing, I've heard you speak pretty in length about, upholding the Constitution, which I think is a good thing. I think that's a great thing. I think that you talk about the founding fathers, who I think, while flawed, overall had very good ideas. my issue is that, and I know it's not October, but currently, I mean, you can spin it however you want. I personally do think that Trump, has done a lot to really ruin the Constitution. I think when you look at January 6th, yes, January 6th.
This is such an October question, bro. Like
I know, but then answer it.
And answer what? I mean,
why is the Constitution suddenly flimsy when it comes to things that are currently happening? But it's not flimsy when it comes to.
That was 5 years ago. And like here's my best argument is like the
So
American.
it doesn't matter.
Well, hold on, the American people were presented with this and they didn't believe the media's premise. So you tell me how Donald Trump was against the Constitution? Like what?
By trying to overthrow it on January 6th.
Okay, he didn't.
Oh,
Again,
he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't. You know what he did do? He did win in November because you guys couldn't stop talking about that for the last 4 years, okay?
Hold on.
Because all you guys did is you lied, you kept the border wide open, you guys sent money to
Then
Ukraine
why did his
unnecessarily.
own VP not validate it?
We had hyperinflation, and all you guys
You
did
smell like that.
was lie endlessly about January 6th, which of course was 99% of people that peacefully went into the Capitol to go pray and go look at the people's house. There were only 15 people that actually committed violent actions against police officers. And so we look at all this together. You're like, oh, he's against the Constitution. Wait a second. You know who's against the Constitution? The Democrat Party that tried to kick him off the ballot. The Democrat Party that tried to say, you're not allowed on a ballot. You know that there were 5 Democrat states, Maine, Colorado, and California being 3 of them, that said, you're not allowed to be on the ballot, Donald Trump, because you're an insurrectionist. That's a threat to democracy and to the Constitution. It's a threat to our democratic norms. And so I'm not going to relitigate this too much because, honestly, I don't have to because we won and you didn't. And we're in power. And so it's like...
May I speak?
Because he's never running again.
I haven't really gotten a second to speak. So
you kind of did.
What I want to say is that, look, I'm not a Democrat. I don't agree with the Democratic Party. I'm not a part of the Democratic Party. I personally believe in upholding this Constitution, and that goes beyond January 6th. I think currently what he's doing with trying to suppress the media is absolutely abhorrent.
How is he suppressing the media by doing more media? You know who's suppressing the media? Joe Biden never talked to the media. Donald Trump will sit at the Resolute desk and invite all the media.
They just announced.
Hold on a second. This is so insane. This guy will answer more questions than any president that we've had in the last 50 years. He will literally do a press conference today. He did one at 12 p.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m., and that's the 3rd time this week he's done, and anyone can ask any question they want. You're saying he's suppressing the media?
Can I say why?
Because of the Associated Press?
Well,
or why?
Partially, yes, and because he literally just announced his press conference person. She just announced that they're getting rid of the nonpartisan group that picks the journalists. He's going to pick the journalists. A bunch of bootlickers are going to be in there. That's not free speech.
Well, first of all, I don't want to hear from Jim Acosta or Caitlin Collins, and I don't think the American people do either. The point being, though, is that...
Sure, and I want to hear from a bunch of spray-tan Fox News people.
Hold on a second, though. You know, I find it interesting because I'm interested in your psychology.
Sure.
Like, what do you support?
I support upholding the Constitution. I think both sides are morally bankrupt. I think both sides are supported and funded by billionaires who should be taken out of power.
You know, and this is
both sides.
Fair enough. We'll end with this. It's a great and everybody don't be like this guy, because. And I wish for you. It's so easy in life to go around saying that everything sucks and everything's awful, when in reality, you have the best government that you've had in 100 years and a reclamation. Of course, there'll be things you disagree with or you don't like, but it's so easy and so cool to kind of be like, I don't like this, and you're kicking out the press, when in reality, they're getting 99 out of 100 things right, and you have Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest man, sacrificing himself to go solve government. No, it's like, honestly, though, the attitude itself, I support the Constitution. I don't like Trump. It's like it's being cool by half.
Why can't both be true?
But I'm just saying though, it's in a general attitude, and I get it. It makes you feel morally sanctimonious and all that stuff. But in reality and in practicality, this is a government that none of us have earned or deserved or expected, that is doing amazing things for us on a daily basis. And so I hope you'll come around to that, and everybody in this audience is going to be better because of it.
I think if this government wants to respect the people, wants to not cut federal funding, and wants to overall improve
we
this country,
should cut federal funding. Of course we should.
Okay.
That's what we got elected on.
Do you think there should be a child tax credit?
Yes,
pre-K?
that's not federal funding. That's.
Do you think that there should be free school lunch for all children?
No.
Why?
Of course not. Because parents should feed their kids, not the government.
What if they can't?
Go get a job.
A child? You
No,
want
the
child labor?
parents should go get the job.
Yeah.
This is important.
They,
I don't believe
they have jobs and they can't support their children there because the minimum wage is so low.
No, you are a Dem, dude. Don't give me this stuff. First of all, this is really.
I want children to eat.
Of course I do. Show me a single child in America going hungry. Doesn't exist. Number two, we have churches, we have food shelters, we have billions, and it does not exist. We have a child obesity problem, not a child starvation problem in this country. That 50% of our kids are obese or overweight. There's not a single kid in America that has died of starvation in the last 10 years. Show me that kid. Show me. This is a propaganda thing from the Democrat Party. Our kids are so overweight they have type 2 diabetes by the age of 8. So the number one problem for kids right now is that they're not moving enough and they're eating too much, not that there's child starvation. Instead, let's get back to a time where we say, hey, parents feed your kids, churches feed your kids, communities feed your kids, not big daddy government coming in and doing what the families should do. With that, I say thank you guys so much and have a great day. Thank you.